Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk episode 98. Right now, I'm joined by George and Seth. Cam will be joining us any minute now, so we will have all four of us locked in for the episode today. And we got a fun one. We're talking Twisters, summer blockbuster event. We're going to give a full review on that. Obviously, George is dressed to the gills. For those on the video version, can see he's in his full Twisters uniform. Then we also got a little Movie Jeopardy trivia that I prepared. So it's disaster movie themed. Threw it together. Should be interesting. We'll see how you do. I think it's pretty difficult, but who knows? I don't know. And then also, movie trailers, news, all that good stuff. Shout out to our executive producers, Stefan Johnson and Stefan Niebrick, for being the kings that get us to do this each and every week. But we'll go ahead and get started. I was going to start with, Cam did join. I was going to start with the birthday boy. So Cam, hello, just said you were going to join us any minute, and here you are. And you are 1 year older than the last time we saw you. So how was your birthday?
I need to post the story. Sure.
That's good.
Happy birthday, Cam.
Happy birthday, Cam.
Thanks. I'm good. 25, halfway to death. Just kidding, of course. Just kidding. No, I'm good. It was a good birthday. I guess I did do a lot. I dug post holes at my house trying to get this fence built. So I was supposed to do this last weekend, but apparently you need a permit to build a fence, which sucks. So I had to wait a week to get a permit. But yeah, did that, and that's just brutal on the arms and back. And then went golfing, and then went to dinner with some friends. So yeah, it was a good, eventful day. Yeah.
What'd you shoot?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear. I thought I heard it, but I didn't hear it. Horribly, I shot 94. It was a brutal day on the course.
Great round for me.
Yeah, that's a good day for me, dude.
Yeah,
I started the first 6 holes with 3 triples and 3 pars, and I was like, it's just gonna be that kind of day. But yeah, just brutal round.
If I start with 1 par within the first 9 holes, I'm ecstatic, man. I'm having a great time.
That's fair. Yeah. It was fun. I played like a little 2-man match with like 3 other friends. We won that, so that's always nice. But yeah, it was a fun round, just a brutal round.
Did you get yourself a? Oh yeah, grill. How is the grill? That's a good quarter life crisis.
The Blackstone is beautiful. The Blackstone's beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, just chefing up on it. It's fantastic. I made breakfast on it once, and then made smash burgers on it so far. So we're learning all the ropes. I think on Wednesday, Emma's friends and a couple of my friends are coming over for like a hibachi night. I'm just gonna. We'll see what happens.
Do you have your tricks prepped? You gotta you can't just make the food.
Yeah, I've been looking them up. We're just gonna learn on the fly kind of thing. I'm trying to spin the spatula around on my finger right now. It's not going great. But I think we're just gonna learn on the fly. See what happens.
Just start throwing butcher knives in the air.
Exactly.
Around all the friends.
We'll figure it out. Well, get the flames up in the air, all that jazz.
Well, happy 25th. Excited to see more quarter life crisis activities from you. See if you get motorcycle next or what's coming. Seth, you obviously are pulled an all-nighter with that movie marathon that people were following along on Twitter and Letterboxd. So obviously, how was that? But also, how was your whole week in general?
Yeah, good, busy week. I didn't do much this week, actually. I went to see Twisters, obviously we'll go over. I went to see one of the old Godzilla films on Friday, which was cool, and my local, which was packed. And then last night, I'm like running off about 20 minutes sleep in the past 40 hours. Not even joking. I am really, really in a state right now. I don't know what's happening. I can't see. It's all over the place for me. I slept on the train.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why didn't you sleep on the train and then when you got home?
I did, but I'm like, I don't know if you guys have this where you see onto the public transport, but you just go your head just goes
yeah, and
you wake yourself up again. It was like a constant cycle of that. And I looked really weird because it was a busy train, and the guy across from me just kept looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So that was fun. But yeah, I went to, so it was like, I said this on Twitter, it was like an all-night screening, but it was 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. So 10 hours, which is a long, and 10 hours in the day wouldn't be that bad, but it's the fact it's all night. It's
no, that's crazy.
It wasn't as bad, as I anticipated, to be honest. But the kind of whole gimmick was that you didn't know. I had no idea what films they were. Like no idea. Like not even clues or anything. So it's a dangerous game to play, and one that I loved and then hated within a space of 2 hours, which I'll go over and what I've been watching. But no, it was fun. I met a few people. Obviously, I went with a couple of the Discord guys. It was great meeting some of them. Met a few people. Like a few people specifically came up to me and like said they liked the podcast and stuff, which is cool. So if you're listening, shout out you. Can't remember any of your names, which sounds bad, but it is what it is. But yeah, shout out you anyway. But yeah, met a few people. Got some dinner, but it was good. It was easier than I anticipated doing 5 films in like a night. Like I thought it'd be really hard. Like I thought by like the third one, you're in the third film. It's like 2 a.m.
I would fall
My
asleep.
eyes.
So
Well, I think I feel like I'm like battle prepared for UFC every week.
that's fair.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's like my prep for this.
Also,
But then
seems
also it's like UFC. I'm like
they
on
pick
it.
shorter films. It's not like they pick like 2.5 hour, 3
Yeah,
hours.
I was thinking that. I feel like that might be a little easier. Like the fact that it's 5 hour
And
and
you
a
get
half to 2
breaks
hour,
between.
as opposed to like 3.5 hour movies. I feel like would lull you in a little more.
100%. You're right. I think because I think the longest one was like an hour 50, I think, and like the others were like 1:30 or whatever. And then you got like it was like 20-minute breaks in between, and there was like free coffee and tea and whatever you wanted, whatever. So that was kind of cool. So it was actually pretty easy. It was like pretty comfy seats as well, because I think that's like key. But it was packed. I'll go over kind of what it was in terms of what we've been watching in that section. But yeah, it was really good. It was a good experience. I'll definitely do it again. They do it like once a year, I think. So I'll probably end up doing next year's one as well.
Join
really,
the
really
Patreon.
cool.
Then you get to see Seth and do a night long whatever.
Was it in Sheffield or London?
Bro, nothing's in Sheffield. Come on. It was in London. There was me and then 4 other guys who were in the Discord. So yeah, join the Patreon. You get to meet me.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want that?
The biggest attraction in Sheffield?
No.
No.
We have the oldest football team in the world.
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
The
That's
Sheffield
impressive.
United, right?
No, it's actually Sheffield FC. But we have the oldest football ground in the world. This is the home of football. Yeah. No, Sheffield. Like, I feel like when people in America, Sheffield's not like a Manchester or London where you don't hear about it a lot, but it's actually like the 4th biggest city in England. So it's actually like it's a big city. It's not like a small town or whatever. But I'm up there. I'm there. I'm right there. I'm not. No, I'm not at all. But yeah, join the Patreon. You get to meet me and go watch films and shit. Or if you live in Arizona, join it. You can go meet Tyler. Even better.
Yeah, that's true.
No one lives in Arizona, do they? That's the issue.
Yeah, we're like the 5th most populous city in America, Phoenix.
Oh, no, I mean
Kinda
like
a
no
sneaky
one
climate.
film wise.
Yeah, there's a couple people. There's one guy I run into quite often.
Go.
Not more than that. Rocco?
I think Tyler means a Discord guy. Not you're on about that the creator on that Coco guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of like just like Americans' perception, because like I have no clue what Sheffield looks like. A big American moment this week is a lot of people are realizing what Scotland is this week because that's where the Open tournament is for golf.
What do you mean realizing what Scotland
The
is?
fact that every day has been cold and rainy, and it's like the temperature's not like everyone's basically on Twitter is like, why the hell would anyone live there if this is their summer?
Oh, I thought you
Just
meant like
cold
people
and
didn't
rainy.
know it was like a place.
No, they knew it's a place, but people are
Okay.
like so. I've seen so many tweets of people who are like golf fans are like, why? Who the hell would want to live in this country where this is supposed to be the hottest time of the year and it's just 60 degrees Fahrenheit and raining 24/7.
Really? Jesus.
It's just a bad week for the tournament. But I mean, George, we've seen that with tennis. It seems like all these big sporting events just are getting unlucky with weather, no matter what.
Wasn't it Paris in like one of the tennis competitions?
Yeah, and it was just raining the whole time. Wimbledon was raining the whole time. But
Is Paris the clay one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I remember seeing stuff about that.
But now the Olympics are gonna be starting soon.
And
Shout out Team USA. Yeah, no one knows how to handle rain, but
Which
who
is
didn't get affected
wild.
by rain is Team USA beating South Sudan in a big Titan versus Titan, Goliath versus Goliath matchup. South Sudan versus USA took a LeBron James buzzer beater to get the win. Crazy that was even that close, but shout out South Sudan. They showed some fight.
But when do the Olympics start? Like next week?
I actually don't know. I mean, it's
I think
like,
it might
it's
be
like
like- I think
any
it might be
week,
like next
any
week,
day
yeah.
now. I think it's like beginning of August.
Gotta be like Sunday, maybe Saturday.
I swear
or
it's
Sunday.
July. I think it is next weekend. Like I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it is.
Opening ceremonies and such.
Shit, that's
July 26th starts Friday.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Friday.
Friday opening ceremony.
George, how's your week been?
My week's been great. Saw Twisters twice, which was cool. Hell yeah, good movie, very fun movie. Can't wait to talk about it. What else? I feel like I always forget what I did. I didn't really do much. Just work. Twisters twice. I was downtown yesterday for one of my other creator friends' birthday. She's a creator on like the F1 tennis side, so I don't think you guys. I that's a lie. I know you guys do not know of her, but she's become good friends with me and Victoria. So we went down for her birthday. She's definitely not listening to this podcast, but I'll say happy birthday anyways.
Thought you were about to roast her.
No,
Definitely not listening to this podcast. I'll say your birthday kind of sucked.
No, that would be disrespectful. But yeah, that's kind of it. Am I missing anything? I'm not missing.
Probably got
anything.
mad at the subways a couple times.
Yeah, I got.
That's just
Oh
standard,
god,
though.
dude, don't even
That's
get me
just a standard
started. I
procedure.
texted you guys about this on Wednesday. I left my office, walked to the subway. It's already hot out, so I'm already pissed off. But like when I walk to the subway, I'm only outside for maybe like 3 or 4 blocks. The subway is very close to my office. So I get down to the subway. First subway comes packed, so I don't even get on it. Packed. A lot of people like hang back. The next subway was like 3 minutes away, so we were like, all right, let's just wait. So I wait. Next subway comes, not as packed, but still packed, but like decently enough where I can like get in. 0 AC. Now I have a sweating problem. So 0 AC in the subway, sardined with 100 people. I'm sweating my ass off. It feels like it's 150 degrees, right? On the same subway card, and I texted you guys this. This is the one line, right? So I get on at Times Square. I have to go to the Upper West Side because that's where our screening of Twisters was. I take the train one stop to 50th Street. And at 50th Street, I'm like, I can't stay on this car. So I get off and I just go to the next car over. Next car over, no fucking AC. There is, however, a nice sleeping homeless man that smells like dog shit holding 2 massive garbage bags, right? So I texted you guys this. The one line is like the least patrolled line in the city. So like fucking homeless people have turned it into their own personal little house. So by the time I get off the subway, I'm pissed for multiple reasons. Fucking the heat, the crowdedness, the no AC, the homeless people. You would have thought someone dumped a bucket of water on me. I wish Alex took a picture of me because it was gross. He was literally like, dude, do we need to like go get you a change of clothes? And I was like, nah, we're good. I'll just like air myself out. But yeah, fuck the subway. I went to a Noah Khan concert on Monday. Forgot to mention that. Which was a lot of fun. I've been a big Noah Khan fan over the last like 2 years, I would say.
That's great.
That's one of my followers. He follows me on TikTok, by the way.
That's huge. That's big.
Oh yeah, shit, that's kind of
Pump
cool.
big.
Flex.
He's probably listening. Him and George Kittle are probably listening right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, that's it. That was really my week, and now we're here. Excited to talk Twisters. We got these shirts at the screening, so I have one of the Not My First Tornado shirts with Glen Powell's face. I got the backwards hat.
I think it's. Wait, what did you say the shirt says?
Tornado, right?
Yeah.
Not my first tornado.
It's like rodeo and
Rodeo.
tornado.
I thought George said tornado.
I said tornado, but it's tornado.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's definitely tornado.
Okay.
That's why it's awesome.
I did not.
That's
know
why it's
that.
fucking awesome.
That makes it cool. But yeah, I'm trying to channel some Glen Powell energy with his backwards hat, which Victoria told me I do not look as good as Glen Powell.
I don't think anyone looks as good as Glen Powell on the backwards hat.
That's true. No one looks as good as Glen
it's kinda
Powell.
brutal.
But yeah, that's it. That was my week.
Yeah, my week, let's see, just been pretty standard. Just work, watch movies, rinse and repeat. It's kind of life these days.
You haven't been playing college.
Oh, yeah, I guess College Football 25 came out on Monday. Been playing that a good amount, not a ton, because I'm like, I just can't get into video games, like obsessed with video games that much. Like I know like that game's been taking over a lot of people's lives. I've been playing it a good amount, but not like haven't been logging crazy hours. Played it a good amount like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They have a really fun like team builder thing you can do online where you can create your own university. So I'm playing around with that too. But haven't locked in yet. Haven't like committed to anything yet. I keep like starting a dynasty and then quitting like the next day and then starting a road to glory and quitting. I need to just like commit and just lock into a several year build of something. But if you're playing college football 25, let me know down below. I'll try and play with some people online. I haven't played online yet. I've only been playing. I mean, it's not really a game most people play online. Like I feel like Madden's more a competitive. You play against people, whereas like everyone kind of plays college football to do like the road to Heisman, the create your own dynasty stuff. But I want to try playing online against some people in the Discord because I know there's some people that are playing it. But yeah, it's been fun. Riley's been we share the PS5 and she's kind of been locked in when she's off work she's still playing Fallout New Vegas right now.
Did she finish Hogwarts Legacy?
She did.
Nice.
Really liked it. She really likes Fallout New Vegas. I think she might prefer Fallout 4 though, surprisingly, which is funny because like when she started Fallout 4, I was like, oh, this is like the one that probably has the best graphics other than Fallout 76 compared to like New Vegas. But I hear New Vegas is the one people like the most. And she's like, oh, it's fine. I don't really care about graphics that much. But then now
I'd prefer Fallout 4, I think.
Playing New Vegas now, she's like, I might be a graphics girly actually at the end of the day, where she's like, I like it when games look a little better.
I'm a bit of a graphics guy.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, especially when like it's a series, so there's multiple to choose from. Where it's like there's a newer one or an older one. It's like especially if you play the newer one first, you go to the older one because like the game mechanics aren't as smooth. It just feels a little choppier. So it's like kind of adjustment. Like I feel like it's best to start at the older ones and work your way forward. But we'll see. I know Fallout 76 when that came out, a lot of people didn't like it, but from what I hear from some of my friends, they like fixed some stuff. So apparently it's not terrible
it
anymore.
released badly and then kind of like built it back into the game it was supposed to be online. I think I haven't played it since release, but apparently it's a lot better now. Yeah,
I think that's what she's up to next. I feel like we're kind of due for a new Fallout game at this point, which with how successful the show was, I imagine they're like green lighting every overtime hours at Bethesda to just like work on the game to try and get one out as soon as possible, strike while that iron's hot with the Fallout show. But she's been having fun with it for sure. But we'll go into what we've been watching. We'll start with Seth. So now we get to hear about your movie marathon as well as other stuff you've been watching.
All right, I'll just run through kind of the basics what I've been watching anyway before the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When did I speak to you? When was our last episode?
It was the 13th. So anything 14th and beyond. Well, 14th, okay. The morning 14th was actually the episode.
14th. Okay, I watched Signs again. I watched Twister for the first time. And then the day after, I obviously went to see Twisters. Watched The Apartment, shout out Patreon review. Watched Thief again, because I love Thief. Watched Destroy All Monsters, which is a Godzilla film. Watched a bunch of Game of Thrones. I'm now it's like middle of season 4, I think we're up to now. So like, the peak, the real peak, like the crazy bits. So the movie marathon. So first film yesterday was a film that premiered at Sundance, actually. It's called Kneecap. And it was, so basically when they do these things, one of the films is always like a preview screening. It's like an early screening of some sort. And it's basically about these 3 Irish rappers, Northern Ireland from Belfast, who are very much in terms of kind of preserving Irish culture, Irish language. I think Irish as a language, especially Northern Ireland, is like dying out. It's very much on culture, and it's like a rap group, and it's a real life trio, and they kind of play themselves. It was their first acting gig as well, and it's kind of their come up. They play their own come up and stuff, and it was so good. Director debut, acting debut. Michael Fassbender's in it as like one of their dads, which is always like a cool little add-on because he's like just fucking good in everything. But like half an hour in, there was like 3 split diopters, like some crossfade shots and stuff, and I was like, this is crazy. And then like the music is like fucking wild as well. And I was listening to it on the train home this morning. Kneecap comes out like end of August, I think here. Really, really got to get that 4-star. The next film we got was a John Waters one, and if you don't know who he is, he was like the pioneer of gay cinema in like the 60s, 70s, like the gay director, kind of the very controversial director. He did like the original Hairspray, but he also did things like Pink Flamingos, which is like one of the most controversial films of all time. Rose Glass actually introduced this, who directed Love Lies Bleeding and Saint Maud. She was there last night. This was the only one we knew what it was before going in. Like, so what they did with the other ones, they just play it and then you get it. You get the like title sequence, whatever. But with this one, she was like, I'll pick this one because it's one of my favorite films, whatever. And that was cool. One of the craziest films I've ever seen, especially in cinema. It was hilarious. Then we watched Grizzly Man. So Grizzly Man is like Werner Herzog's documentary. It's on, people listening might have heard of the story. It's on a guy called Timothy Treadwell who he was struggling with a lot of outside issues in terms of mental health and relationships, and he devoted his life every summer going to Alaska to try and preserve bears and try and protect bears. and he eventually kind of became a bear in a sense that he felt so connected to him and stuff. And he did it for 13 summers in a row. Eventually, he got killed by a bear, him and his girlfriend. And the whole documentary is about him, and it's like showing his footage, speaking to his friends. It's a Werner Herzog who directed documentary as well, who obviously did like Nosferatu, A Great Wrath of God. What's other ones did he do? Like he's a Bad Lieutenant with Nicolas Cage. He's like a very, very famous director, obviously. That was amazing. That's not my favorite documentary of all time. So when that came on, I was like, I'm so like excited right now because I just love that, and I think it's if anyone's interested in documentaries, that's my favorite ever. And then we got Cocaine Bear, and right, this is I think the first time I've ever had a film this shit on. When I look to the past, I have no I don't know if they were trying to stick to like the bear theme, which is weird. Going from Grizzly Man.
There are so many bear movies.
Like The Revenant or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was like 3 hours long, to be fair.
Yeah, fair.
Bear. Such a bad joke. I think that. Oh, no, there was like Paddington. I did Paddington last time, actually, so they wouldn't be able to like. There's bear films.
Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would have actually prepared that, to be honest. But like, I sat there for 95 minutes or whatever it is and watched Cocaine Bear. And I was like, this is the worst film ever made. I have never seen a film I've hated more than this recently. I originally gave this like a 2 or a 1.5. I can't remember one of the two. And at the end, I was like, how the fuck did I give that higher than half a star? So I straight down a half star. It was painful to sit through. And the thing is, everyone else, so it was like, I'm sure you can imagine the audience who were going, it was very like film heavy people. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, the couple of guys who came up to me, like, just said they saw my content, whatever. I was having like deep chats with them about like Cure and Kiyoshi Kurosawa and Werner Herzog. They're very like film people, maybe even more so than us, like film students, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And I remember we walked out after Cocaine Bear, and everyone was just like, "Why the fuck did they show that? Like, what are we doing?" Like, it was the weirdest choice. It's like there's so many. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't understand. Like, there was one person who was laughing the whole time. I don't know what the fuck she was watching. But yeah, it was terrible.
Dude, that would have been me. I would have been dying of laughter.
No, you wouldn't, George.
3 a.m. delirious.
I haven't rewatched it. It's 4 a.m. I'm 4 films down. I'm sat there like
delirious. Like I'd be dying, dude.
My literal Letterboxd review is I want to fucking die, and that was literally just after because that was like the post-depression era. And then, and this is the last film, right? The last one was Shrek 2, and don't get me wrong, I love Shrek 2. I think Shrek 2 is like, it's like a good ending, you know, it's like happy, whatever. And I love Shrek 2. I think Shrek 2 is my favorite Dreamers film, favorite Shrek film. I love Shrek 2. But I will say I was a little bit disappointed because I thought basically they came out at the end and they were like, the last one is something that's been requested. We've never done it before. And I was like, oh, it's going to be fucking sick. And I was looking at the thing, I was like, they haven't done a horror yet. You know, they've done like, so the Irish film is like it's, you know, confrontational in terms of politics, but it's also really, really funny. And Cocaine Bear is like, well, I guess it's meant to be a comedy. Whether it works as one, I don't know. But, you know, it's meant to be a comedy. And the one with John Waters is like this absurdist, just repulsive comedy in a sense, but it's also like a drama comedy, like horror comedy kind of thing, whatever. Not horror comedy, like drama comedy. And then Grizzly Man is like just documentary. I'm like, oh, it's going to be like horror or a thriller, you know, because it's last film we've asked for ages. So in my head, we're all like cooking up ideas while I'm speaking. And I'm like, what if it's like a Razorhead? You know, what if it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Because it's like, you know, under an hour and a half, I was thinking maybe it's like Evil Dead because that fits perfectly. And when I saw Shrek, I was like, okay, that's cool. I love Shrek and I'm always going to watch Shrek. But I was also kind of disappointed because it felt like it was a lot of like funny or like, do you know what I mean? That sort of. Whereas I really wanted one.
So yeah, you like your first two films very strong, and then it kind of just like.
Yeah, I mean, like it was like. So the first film I really liked, second film I liked. So first film was a 4-star, the Irish one. Second film, John Waters, was a 3.5, like that. Third, I don't rate, but I would give that a 5. It's my favorite documentary ever. But it's documentary. I don't rate documentaries, but like I love it. But again, those first two are really comedy focused. And you got Cocaine Bear, which is like, you know, when something's so unfunny, it's like actually tiring to sit through. And then Shrek 2, which is funny, I think. I do love Shrek 2, but it's also, again, it's serving a purpose is comedy a lot of the time, you know, as well as being heartfelt kids film. And I was just kind of waiting for the real push, you know, like an Eraserhead. or a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like a short horror, like The Thing or something like a Carpenter, because they did like 2 Carpenters last time. So that was kind of disappointing. But overall, I definitely do it again. So they do like every year, they do like marathons, and like next door they were doing a Park Chan-wook marathon of like his Vengeance trilogy, and then The Handmaiden as well. And don't get me wrong, that'd be amazing. But I kind of like the fact that I didn't know what I was getting into. You know, imagine like you go into a marathon, you don't know what the film is until you see the title card. It's so exciting. Like, it's so fun. But yeah, no, it was cool. It was really, really good. I would definitely recommend. I'll probably do it again because I think it was like, so you got free drinks and stuff. I think it was like £35 for 5 films, which I don't think is bad at all. To be honest,
No, it's not bad.
Really, really good, especially like Central London. Because Central London's like hellish. But yeah, no, it was really good. I'll definitely look to do it again. Hopefully, I'll have some more like horror next time because that'd be cool to have a bit more like, I don't know, something like gripping and thrilling rather than just comedy. So like when you watch too much comedy, you kind of get a bit tired of that same push,
Yeah.
You've only got so many laughs. And then when you watch Cocaine Bear, you've got no laughs because it's just eliminated the ability to laugh. That's the issue.
Yeah, I was following it along with you because obviously with like the time zone differences, like Track 2 started for you while I was like still up, and I was like, because like the first movie they had was like an early screener of a 2024 film, like indie film. Second film was like a classic introduced by an up and coming director. Third film was like a acclaimed director, but something that maybe not a lot of people know him for with his documentary. So it seemed like they were going.
To be fair, that documentary is like very, very well known. Like very
but still, Werner Herzog's like a classic guy. So it's like you got 3. They seem curated super nicely, and then all of a sudden, like Cocaine Bear and Shrek 2 is like, oh, that's kind of like
Cocaine Bear. I mean, Shrek 2
to end those two
would have been like cool to end off if they'd have put something like a Texas Chainsaw on a Ray's head in like the place of Cocaine. Cocaine Bear is such a weird pick for me. Like it doesn't make sense. And I will say, like, just to reiterate, the Irish film at the start, that's 8th in my yearly ranking. So I really like.
I saw some comments in your Letterboxd review in like the original Irish language or something, whatever language that is.
I was like, I don't know what you're chatting about. Well, it's just Irish. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking. But I definitely recommend that. I think it premiered like Sundance online or maybe in the person one or something like that. But it was cool. I definitely do again. That's kind of all I watched this week. Other than that, it's kind of been heavy Game of Thrones. And I will, and I'm sure you'll say the same, Tyler. I will try and catch up with House of the Dragon as well because I still
no, because is it the finale this weekend coming up? Not today, next week.
3 more.
No.
3 weeks. So there's 10 episodes because this would be episode 7 today and 8 next week.
Oh my god, am I that far behind? Jesus Christ.
I'm pretty sure there's 3 episodes left. I could be wrong.
Okay, so then there's a 10 episode season. Okay.
I need to catch up.
Sweet. I was planning on catching up this week, but I can put that off for a couple more weeks. George, what have you been watching?
That's disrespectful. Honestly, not a lot. Like I've been telling you guys, been like a little movie run to where I just haven't been connecting with film. So I kind of like took a little break this week. So Twisters twice, which we'll talk about. Sunday after the pod, I watched Sanctuary, the movie with Margaret Qualley and Christopher Abbott, which was very excited about. It's rated not highly, but a bunch of 3.5, 4 stars among a lot of my mutuals. But again, just struggled to connect with it. Didn't really enjoy my time with it. I took a train out on Tuesday to Long Island to play tennis, and on my train ride there, I watched Elton John's final performance at Dodger Stadium, which apparently you can log on Letterboxd. So I did. So I guess I watched that. Best thing I watched though was Constantine. Seth, I texted you this. I need you to rewatch this.
I haven't seen it in like 5 years, honestly.
This is just such like a Seth top 10 superhero comic book movie of all time.
Who directs it? Is it like a known name?
It's the guy that did the Hunger Games movies. What's his fucking name?
Oh, he did
Francis Lawrence.
He did I Am Legend. I had no idea he did I Am Legend.
Yeah, so interesting filmography, but yeah, dude, this is something you would love. Just a really cool, like, insane look at like Constantine lore. And I don't know if you're familiar with like Constantine.
I know the whole Demons and Angels world and whatever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the graphic novel is called, but
I have no idea about the graphic novel. But I know like the basics of it, I think.
Yeah, but you have Tilda Swinton as Gabriel. The character of Lucifer has like the coolest entrance ever. The design is insane. Like some of these like camera work, some of the images. Let me channel my inner looks like a movie pod. Some of the images are just insane. It's just cool. It's just cool, and I'd be hard pressed if you gave this anything less than a 4 on rewatch.
I'll add it to my priority watch list now.
Good. And then I've been watching like movies about or documentaries about making movies. So I watched The Thing, Terror Takes Shape. My Letterboxd review was, this should be required viewing for anyone who ever wants to make a horror movie going forward. Just a really cool look at like John Carpenter's behind the scenes and like how he kind of brought all of these like practical effects to life, and you know why he was so adamant about using practical effects instead of trying to push CG and you know whatever year The Thing came out.
Yeah, sounds
It
cool.
was very good. And then I watched another documentary about making movies called Vengeance in the Making. Both of these could be found on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they're like bonus features on the Blu-ray discs, but they're also on YouTube now. But Vengeance in the Making is about the Batman, Matt Reeves, which is cool. The documentary it doesn't necessarily focus on like, I mean, it focuses on the making of the movie, but it more so focuses on like the struggles of making this movie during COVID. And then it also just places like heavy emphasis on how intricately they brought Gotham City to life. It's like those two are like, it's only like 50 minutes. I watched it this morning before we started. But yeah, those were very cool. And that's
You know what you should watch, George? I feel like you'd like the Eraserhead one. There's one where David Lynch discusses like the making of Eraserhead, and it's really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah,
George, where is the Batman's Gotham City take place? 'Cause I know The Dark Knight was Chicago. Did it say where the Batman's take place? Like where they filmed it?
All over.
In Gotham. They filmed it in Gotham, Tyler.
Mm.
They went to that's why Gotham looks so good. They went to the real
like
Gotham.
The funeral scene was like somewhere in the UK. They went overseas to find
Was
that
it?
building. Yeah.
So they pieced it together. A couple
they
different
kinda pieced
cities.
it together. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's not like
Oh, you're right. It was in Liverpool. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Batman Begins was like exclusively in New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it was. I think you're right. Yeah.
But then I know The Dark Knight was Chicago.
Chicago with just like overhead shots of like New York. So, you know.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're wrong, George. Batman Begins was like mostly here. Actually, I didn't know that at all.
Oh, really?
It was like and like around London area apparently.
Interesting.
Oh shit, that's kind of odd.
I guess it makes sense with Christopher Nolan, like very much a British dude.
No, he's not. Nolan isn't English. He's American. Nolan's American.
He's
American. Nolan's like James Corden, you know. Well, that's a bad comparison. I mean, like a. He's like a British
on the Oppenheimer
born.
University of all day, or on anniversary of all day.
I mean, he's a British-born American. You know what I mean? Like he's an American citizen. He's been living there for. Does he live there? I think he lived there for a while anyway. He's an American. He's American.
Yeah, but American who made the best British war film of all time. The best I've seen.
What?
Ooh,
You like
wait.
Dunkirk?
I love
Yeah.
Dunkirk. Is that actually might not be a bad. That might not be a bad take. I think. Like in my head, I'm like, that is a terrible take. But then I'm looking, I'm like, is it that bad a take?
I mean, like, what in terms of modern films up there?
I mean, Paths of Glory was a British production because that was when Kubrick was in his early phase.
The Darkest Hour.
Oh, actually, no, because Kubrick hadn't. No, Kubrick hadn't even gone because he didn't even move to the UK. Then that was an American production. No, I think you're. Did you say UK or Europe?
I said British.
Okay. You know what, Tyler? I like it.
Yeah, just had to make you.
There's a few there.
That James Corden comparison, disrespectful.
No, that wasn't like that was like a comparison in terms of like achievement or skill. It was simply a comparison in that James Corden was once English, but now he's American. But also, we just don't claim James Corden. I'll claim Nolan.
We don't either. Don't worry.
No one.
He's unclaimed. He's on waivers. He's a free agent.
Someone say he's a free agent. Yeah, James Corden's a free agent. What a guy. You get it.
For me, let's see. What did I watch this week? Quite a bit. So George and I, the last thing we recorded last week was our movie Summer Vibes draft. So right after that, I was like in the Summer Vibes mood. So I rewatched Everybody Wants Some. That movie just so damn rewatchable. Such a fun time. Just a great hangout movie. Dudes being fellas. Then I rewatched Wet Hot American Summer right after. That movie's so stupid, but so funny. Like I
I've
just
seen
love
it
it.
in years.
It's such a unique film for sure. Like it's very odd. One of those that like if you don't like it or like if you like super put off by it in the first like 5 minutes, like probably just turn it off. Like similar to like Real Bros of Simi Valley, George. Like if you don't get the comedy, if you don't care for the comedy right away, just stop it because you're not gonna. It's not gonna ever grab you in if you're not immediately
like
like
a Blue Mountain State, Tyler. Like a Blue Mountain.
like Airplane, even where it's like it's
Yeah.
movies that have like a style of comedy. It's like it's just gonna fire that at you.
Like a Monty Python. Like a
Mhm.
Monty Python.
All great comparisons here. But
yeah.
then another summer movie the next day, we watched Mamma Mia. I don't know if any of you knew that I liked that movie, but I watched it again. I watched it twice this week. Spoiler: I watched it then on the 20th, which is yesterday. So watched Mamma Mia twice this week. First Cow, watched that for the first time. Watched some Kelly Reichardt lately. Loved First Cow. Movie makes me so damn hungry because the whole like basically like they're making these. I don't even know what it is. It's like these like
What's it about?
milk buns.
Yeah, what is the movie about?
I thought
It's just killing cows. I don't want to watch that.
That's had it logged. No, it's a.
No, I haven't watched this.
It's like it's a Western. It's John Magaro is like the main guy I recognize, but then Lily Gladstone's in it for like she has like a line, so that was cool to see her.
There's not cow killing, is there?
No, it's like these fur trappers are in Oregon and trying to make ends meet basically. And John Magaro is like a baker in his past life. Like he used to be an indentured servant.
Oh, okay.
So they find the first cow, like because they're like frontiersmen. So they find like a cow. There's like no cows out there yet. Like some super rich dude on his plantation has a cow. So they like sneak onto it every night and milk it to like bake goods with. So like steal the milk because it's like super expensive. So then they like start getting like super rich by selling these baked goods in the town. And then the guy who owns the cow eventually starts figuring out, and then it's a conflict there, of course.
Because I think the reason I didn't watch it is because it was called First Cow.
No,
like,
I thought that too. I literally
like
thought
loads
the
of
whole
cows.
time.
Just
Mhm.
like watching like an abattoir.
For a long time.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
documentary that was like the classic like,
It
anti.
does look like a documentary, like that. You know the banner of just the cow's face. That is so documentary.
Yeah,
That's
I
like
thought for the
Grizzly
longest time it was a documentary that was like supposed to be like
about
an
the
anti.
first cow.
Yeah, like I thought it was like a pro-vegetarian type documentary.
Yeah.
I was being killed and mangled, but no, I really like Kelly Reichardt. I had a great time in the movie. And then after that, watched Con Air, which I know a lot of people on Discord and in general, a lot of people love that movie. It's like a cult classic Nick Cage film. I liked it. I gave it a 3-star. Not really a negative 3-star, but I didn't fully love it as much as I think a lot of people do. But I mean, like the average rating is not super high. It's like a 3.
What movie?
3.4.
Oh, no. I haven't seen it. I need to watch it.
It's so funny that like the biggest, baddest serial killer in like history in this movie's lore is Steve Buscemi, and not just Steve Buscemi, like a 25-year-old Steve Buscemi. So he looks like 110 pounds, and they're like, this dude's murdered, like brutally murdered 55 people. It's like
Don't judge a book, Tyler. We've seen some villains where they
that's
don't
fair.
listen to stuff.
But Steve Buscemi is just a funny little guy. And then John Malkovich has so many roles where he plays like this exact thing where he's just like a criminal mastermind. But it's a fun movie. I get why a lot of people have a lot of fun with it. And then watch All That Jazz. Depressing movie, man. Really depressing movie, but a great one, a classic. Everyone kind of needs to check off at least at one point. Had a good time with it. Gave it a 4.5 star. But yeah, very heavy movie for sure. A lot different than I thought, because I see like genre as a musical, so I'm like, oh, I'm expecting music and vibes, but it's like a music movie. Like there's musical numbers, but it's not really like a musical, like a Mamma Mia or like a Singing in the Rain or whatever. And then Twisters, of course, we'll talk about that. Rewatch Unbreakable, kind of going through my M. Night Shyamalan rewatch before Trap comes out. Unbreakable a lot of his movies I've been kind of like raising on rewatch. Unbreakable kind of just stayed right where it was, but it was already at a 4-star. I really like it. But it just kind of stays right there. The Apartment, which we'll talk about in our Patreon review on Friday. Watch The Man Who Sleeps, which is another Discord recommendation. Also like a pretty popular film. It like kind of weaves it in and out of the Letterboxd top 250. It's like right on the border. It's probably around like 300 overall. It just wasn't for me. It's a 3-star movie. Found it a little overly bleak, and like it just felt very familiar, which to be fair isn't from 1974, but it's a very typical Taxi Driver, Joker, that kind of movie where it's like a guy who's just like feels beaten down by society with an inner monologue, just like about how he feels like he's failed at life and he's like annoyed with the world and has a lot of disdain for everything that's come to be in his life. And it just got really cumbersome for me, honestly, but like, it was like well shot and interesting, but just, I don't know. There's like 80 minutes of just, I just don't think I was in the right headspace for it. It's just a very bleak movie that I just didn't love. Watched David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. So, biggest Crone head had tick it off. 4-star for me, but when it comes to David Cronenberg, you have to know like they're all 5 stars. So the rating scale is like of David Cronenberg films is a 4-star because we all know they're guaranteed 5. But Jeremy Irons' performance, he plays like a classic double performance where he's playing twins and he has played both the roles. One of the genuinely best acting performances I've ever seen in my life. Like he blew me away in that like crazy performance in playing both roles. He did so well. And then I rewatched Love Lies Bleeding because if you watch anything on HBO Max, it's like shoving it down your throat with like ads before everything saying like Love Lies Bleeding is out now, Love Lies Bleeding. But I really like that movie. It's just a fun time. Still good with 4-star. Didn't raise it or lower or anything. And then watch Mamma Mia again, like I said, Eurovision, rewatch that right after it. Both those are just like kind of mid trivia 10 prep yesterday. And then last night watched Old Joy, which is another Kelly Reichardt film from 2006.
Is that Kelly Reichardt? Is that the one with the two? I've seen that.
Yeah, you have it. You do.
I didn't know that was okay. So I have seen a Kelly Reichardt.
It's like her first feature film. In terms of like, if you go chronologically, at least on Letterboxd, her films like everything before it was like 15 minutes. This is like 73 minutes. So first feature film length. Really liked it. Like crazily intimate film where it just feels like you're plopped in on these dudes' lives and it just feels like you're like too close almost. Like it's just so she's so good at just capturing life and humanity and people traversing life through difficult circumstances and just trying to get by. But I really liked Old Joy and then finished that up with, and this is like late at night. And I was just like went on Letterboxd, like for like under 90-minute films. I was like, I just need one before bed. Watched Noah Baumbach's Mistress America. I gave it a 5-star, which is like so rare for like just throwing on a movie right before bed. You're like, I'm just need something to pass some time. Don't want to quite go to bed yet. But I love this. This is by far my favorite Noah Baumbach or Greta Gerwig production. Obviously, they co-wrote it together and Greta Gerwig stars. This is like the funniest one I've seen from either of them. I was like laughing endlessly to this movie, but also it's a very stressful movie. Noah Baumbach's dialogue is so great at just having these scenes that are just like almost like assault on the senses, where it's like, especially Greta Gerwig's character, just like trying to get life figured out, a lot like in Frances Ha. But there's so many moments where she's like being interrogated by other people or trying to figure stuff out, and like all this quick dialogue, snippy, snappy back and forth. I was like, damn, I'm like stressed the fuck out. And then I'm laughing 1 minute. Felt very comforting and warm and endearing by the end. I loved Mistress America. I highly recommend to anyone. It's hard for me to not like anything Noah Baumbach, but this is by far my favorite thing I've seen from him. So yeah, busy week of a lot of watches. But that kind of brings us to Twisters now, where we'll talk about the big release, the only release of the week. Directed by unproven indie film director Lee Isaac Chung.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know,
I only saw it this morning because I was like rechecking. I was just going through our group chat. I to be honest, I mean, again, I won't bring it up, but I actually don't know that podcast very much. I know they're quite big.
No, they're like the biggest movie podcast, but I couldn't tell you what I've never heard his voice. Like I have no clue what he sounds like. But it's no, I mean it makes sense. Like, but the thing is, like when you get Ratio, like we've all been Ratio before. Like I know me and
George had the Dune guy. That was the craziest Ratio.
I had the Dune guy in my replies, dude. I got smacked up.
What was that about? Was it Challengers?
Was it Challengers?
It was some Challengers.
I feel like it was Challengers, and he just put like a GIF or something and put like Ratio.
Yeah, I forgot what was the tweet.
It was definitely supposed to do a challenge.
It was my banner thing where I was like, how do I make this my banner?
Oh yeah. It was like, how do I crop this?
Trash can.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I still like stand by what I said 100%. Like, what his wording was stupid.
Yeah,
I knew what you meant when I saw it. No, I knew what you meant when you saw it.
The way he like worded his tweet was very stupid.
Yeah, because like he said, basically what he says, he said. Like Lee Isaac Chung is an unproven indie director. When he's by definition a proven indie director, he's proven himself in indie films. But I get what he's saying. Is like saying like someone who's never made money,
like blockbuster, big movie,
like big blockbuster. Yeah. But then like if that's like what means you're a proven director, then like Ingmar Bergman is still unproven. We still don't know.
Ingmar Midman, to be fair,
for real. Ing mid Berg mid. Yeah. But yeah, Lee Isaac Chung. previously the film he directed that was the most acclaimed was Minari, which got him nominated not only for Best Director, but Best Writer for Best Screenplay. But now he's directing Twisters with Glen Powell. Obviously, it's a Glen Powell summer. Daisy Edgar Jones as well. And this cast in general is like every up and coming, up and coming to tough words, similar to Sean Fennessy trying to lump everyone into the same thing. But it's more like people who are like their stock is like rising lately. And it's like Daisy Edgar Jones, Anthony Ramos obviously just had like Transformers last year. Brand Perea with Nope. More Tyranny obviously has been on top for a long time. It was great to see her. But Sasha Lane, love David Cornsweet. Obviously gonna be Superman.
I like
Ryan.
Sasha Lane.
Like there's a crazy cast of just young in terms of Hollywood young that are all their stocks are starting to rise at different levels right now. But Twisters, chase, ride, survive. As storm season intensifies, the paths of former storm chaser Kate Carter and reckless social media superstar Tyler Owens collide when terrifying phenomena never before seen are unleashed. The pair and their competing teams find themselves squarely in the paths of multiple storm systems converging over central Oklahoma in the fight of their lives. Legacy sequel to 1996's Jan de Bont film Twister, which was obviously starring an incredible cast, is going to be tough to top with Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton, Philip Seymour Hoffman. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into Twisters. We'll start with George because I believe he's the twistiest on Twisters. And you saw it twice as well. What are your spoiler-free thoughts?
Spoiler-free thoughts. This is just an absolute blast. I texted you guys maybe a week ago, just venting about this movie runt I've been in where just haven't been connecting with anything. Things that I typically should like, I wasn't loving. I even I was rewatching one of my favorites the other day, and I was like, this is just not something I'm in the mood for right now.
Name it.
I'm not naming
it. I'm curious.
Name it.
Damn, George finally dislikes Zack Snyder's Justice League.
George, you're not even going to text us and name it. Now I'm really intrigued.
Okay, in fairness, it was 1 a.m. when I started watching the movie.
That's fine.
I fell asleep. It was Across the Spider-Verse. Relax.
Oh, no.
Chill on me. All right. It was very early in the morning, and I was not there mentally. Okay, fuck off. Movies bangs. Anyways, Twisters. I don't know. I guess this is just what I needed. I just needed to step in a cinema, turn my brain off, watch Glen Powell just be charismatic, and just watch him fight some Twisters. I had a fucking blast this movie. I think when it comes to a Twisters movie, the most important thing here is to make sure that your CG and these grand set pieces feel monumental, which they do in this movie. Some of these shots of Glen Powell just driving into the storm, they didn't make my heart drop, but they made my heart race a little bit, I was really feeling it. I was like, damn, this is energetic. This is insanity. So I just had a good time in that sense where this movie just got a really fun reaction out of me. I said Glen Powell, but I know you guys didn't love Daisy Edgar Jones. I thought she was super fine. The only thing I would say about her is her accent kept going in and out, but it didn't go from Southern American to British. It went from Southern American to just regular New York.
No, there was some English in there as well. There was.
The English I didn't hear, but on first watch, I was focused on Daisy because I believe it was you, Seth, that said Daisy was not great.
Because I don't know why I watched it a day earlier than you guys. I don't know why that happened this time.
Yeah, but on first watch, I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on Daisy. Let me see if this is really that bad of a performance. On first watch, I was like, it's not that bad. The only thing that.
But yeah,
but the only standout was the accent. And then on second watch, I'm like, I think she's good. Not good, but I think she does a fine job. But again, it's the accent. It went from Southern American to New York, back and forth, which again, in the movie, she lives in New York for 5 years. So I don't know if that was intentional, where maybe she left behind her Oklahoma roots. And, the New York accent is slipping out. And then when she comes back to Oklahoma, the original Southern or Midwest accent is I don't know. I don't know if it was intentional.
I think that's too much credit, George.
I think I'm overthinking it, but that's I did not think she was that bad. Whole cast was great. The only thing that the cast lacked was Philip Seymour Hoffman. Obviously,
Every cast ever has lacked Philip
every
Seymour
cast
Hoffman.
ever
Yeah.
lacks a Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I think everyone did a great job. I think they really nailed like that camaraderie that we saw in like the OG Twister, where like it's just this band of like friends just chasing tornadoes, which I really liked. But yeah, I had a blast. I had a really good time. This was just such a fun experience in theaters. The first time I watched it was just on a normal screen. The second time I watched it was on the IMAX screen at Lincoln Square, which, you know, just elevated my experience, just made it so much more fun. And I was with a lot of my friends that time, and it was just fun watching like them react to this movie because they were all having a great time too. Soundtrack bangs. I tell you guys all the time, I do not like country. Even Victoria doesn't like country, but the two of us walked out of that theater basically saying, like, I really can't believe we liked the music, like, considering how much we don't like country.
Is
will
Noah
say,
Kahan not country? Is it not country, technically?
I wouldn't call him country.
yeah,
I mean, I like Noah Kahan, to be fair.
I would say.
Okay.
No, but like Luke Combs is like country through and
Yeah.
through.
Yeah,
But regardless, like, again, I liked the soundtrack. I'll probably never listen to one of these songs unless I'm watching the movie. Like, just I can't do country. I think just like, I don't know, like Glen Powell driving, turning the radio on, and a country song bangs. I'm like, this is sick. Glen Powell's introduction, so cool. I loved like the YouTube live stream when he's driving in his car and he goes, "What's up, chat?" My theater like died of laughter. Like, that shit was so fucking funny to me. And then what's his name? Guy from Nope, Michael Pereira.
Brandon Perea.
Brandon
Perea.
He's hilarious, man. He's so fucking funny. Like just little calm comments here and there. Like at the end of the movie where Daisy Edgar Jones, he's like, "I think I love you," and I was like, "This is so fucking funny." But yeah, this was just like, I would love to rewatch this not in a theater to see how it holds up for me, but like 2 theater experiences, you know, the crowd was like, my crowd both times did not disappoint. They were very locked in. They were laughing when they needed to laugh. They were like oohs and ahs. One of my friends I was with had her hand over her mouth for like half the movie because she just like couldn't believe the violence and how quickly this movie just throws you into that first tornado. But yeah, I had a great time, man. This was a lot of fun. I got my shirt. Not my first Tornado. They were giving these out after my screening on Wednesday. Alex got one too. I hope you guys saw the picture we both tweeted. But yeah, great time. I went with a 4 out of 5. It was just this was like just the fun, turn off your brain experience I needed. Just some big massive blockbuster. Just watch Glen Powell in a wet t-shirt. Do his thing. I am upset about that one wet t-shirt scene. It was like 8 seconds long and there was no music. I thought that was gonna be like a way more epic scene, of him like going to like save someone or something.
It was just him like walking out to the car.
Yeah, it was just him walking out to the car. But yeah, this was great. I had a really good time with this.
Seth, spoiler-free thoughts.
Yeah, similar. I think I said this in my review. This felt like a really like mid 2000s disaster film. You know, like the kind of Day After Tomorrow. You know, Jordan, I think you watched that.
Hopefully, you remember all of those for the trivia we're about to have.
Complimentary, because I like Day After Tomorrow anyway.
I think I forgot to say that in What Have We Been Watching? Victoria and I did watch After Tomorrow the other night because we were in the mood for more disaster.
I know what you mean. Like sometimes, again, like in a complimentary sense, because there are some terrible disaster films as well. But I mean it in a very much a complimentary fashion. I think that, like George said, one of my favorite parts of the film is the opening. Kind of just shoots you right in there. That opening scene I loved. I think that was amazing. I think that I won't say that. That's spoilers, but I think it does well in its kind of significant moments in being like emotionally resonant. Not dissimilar to a lot of blockbusters. I think a lot of the commentaries on the nose, but it didn't really bother me too much. I think there's some actually good stuff in there about kind of again on the nose, but on capitalist nature, which obviously we see later on in the film. I think it kind of strikes a good balance between the two. It's pretty funny as well, as George mentioned, which is nice. Glen Powell, I love. in anything. I just think Glen Powell's just cool. Daisy Edgar Jones, yeah, I didn't hate her. I just don't think she's very good. And I said that when I watched Crawdads as well. Haven't seen Normal People. Apparently she's based on Normal People, so I'll, you know.
Out.
I know. K Meeks has probably told me to watch it like 89 times. It's crazy. I think in Normal People, is she Irish in Normal People? I think she is, isn't she?
Haven't seen.
No. Wow.
Oh, I thought she was Irish in Normal People. Maybe she's not.
I don't believe
But I don't know. I just don't think she can do accents very well. I also think I think her chemistry, particularly with Glen Powell, is not very good at all. Which is crazy.
In the movie. Press tour looks great.
Yeah, press tour's better, which is weird. Which is weird because I really don't think she's very. I also I don't think Anthony Ramos is very good as well. I didn't like him at all either, to be honest.
He didn't have.
I think
I thought Anthony Ramos did not have as much screen time as I expected.
No, same. Because he's like, there's a big gap in the film. So, because someone tweeted this actually. Someone tweeted like, they tweeted like everyone's like critiquing Daisy Edgar Jones. I said, well, yeah, because you know she's the forefront of the film. Like Anthony Ramos is he's not in it for like 45 minutes in the middle. I think it's fine. I think they're massively out of place with Glen Powell. I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of character driven as well. But even so, I don't think that the acting problems I had issue with actually hindered my experience that much. I still really enjoyed it. I think it has these big tantalizing set pieces. It really makes you feel like you're there, you know, amongst the tornadoes. Every tornado scene I loved. Especially that first one. The first one was, again, I'm not going to spoil that, but the scene we know happens at the start kind of took me off guard a little bit, you know, because I didn't really expect it to be really head on.
Yeah, it was immediate.
Yeah, it was really fast because it's like 10 minutes and it's just like you're there. There were a few decisions with Daisy Edgar Jones' character where I'm like, some sort of really quick mindset changes where I'm like, that is so lazily done. But we'll go on to that. But no, I did actually really enjoy it. I think it felt like a classic kind of 2000. I said this like, so like my mom would like rent me from like, you know, when Blockbusters was open. That sort of film, like you'd have it on like VCR or DVD or whatever. And it just felt like one of them, which is massively complimentary because I kind of felt almost like a kid watching it within those tornado scenes. They're just so like silly and absurd. I think it kind of manages to capture the essence of Twister, which I watched it the day before for the first time. I've never seen it. I think I prefer Twister slightly, and I think the main reason is just the cast. I just much prefer the cast. But I think because again, evident as well, this was shot on film, looks really fucking good, which I was a big fan of. Some really, really cool sequences. I really like the I think that this follows like a traditional disaster movie, any blockbuster, you know, narrative with the ups and downs. And the ending is so formulated blockbuster. And again, I mean that in a complimentary sense. Sounds negative. I don't mean it as such. I think it did so and you knew exactly what was going to happen, but it still had the same impact as if you didn't know what was happening. For me, anyway. I think that's a massive compliment towards the film. Like it's very evident, very on the nose, but it just provides that really heartfelt but also kind of exhilarating experience as well. So I gave it a 3.5. I liked it. It was good. Just to give you a quick, it currently sits on my 2024 ranked at 14, 3.5. It was a cool film. I liked it. It was good.
Nice. Yeah, for me, this is like the most 3-star movie ever. And that's like in the most complimentary way I could possibly mean it. Like, again, when you talk about all the time, like 3 stars, we got to get out of the mindset that that's like a bad, like it's a positive rating for a film. And for me, like I thought this movie was like a mess in so many ways. There's so much about it I did not like genuinely just didn't like, but like it's still so fun and such a great time. And just like it's such a enjoyable summer blockbuster that like it's still like a positive film that I would be like, I would happily, if like a buddy who's like want to go see Twisters in theaters again today, I'd be like, I'd happily say sure, of course. Like, but still like there's a lot of stuff I just didn't love about it. One thing I saw, which like isn't a spoiler, but I saw like a tweet that was like about some interview saying, so obviously the main Twister was like iconic for like the cow scene with tornadoes, but there's no cows in this one in tornadoes. But like I saw like a VFX artist like snuck one in there or whatever, and Lee Isaac Chung didn't realize it until like after the film was released. I was like, that's like, is that like a suable offense? Like if I'm a director of a film, like a VFX artist just sneaks in something like that, I would be like, I would be very pissed because obviously it's like it seems like the cows are so iconic in the first Twister that like it seems very pointed decision to like not have them in this. So like for some guy to like sneak that in the background and be like, haha, I've snuck this past you. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, I'd bar that dude from ever working on my film again. But the cast, yeah. So I think I'm the lowest in terms of you guys, just because I really loved Glen Powell in this. Didn't care for anyone else. I think a lot of it has to do with kind of what you guys were talking about with screen time. Like I thought the original Twisters, all of them, you know, Helen Hunt with the main romance. You had like his current fiance or girlfriend too. You have Philip Seymour Hoffman. You have all these side characters like at the dinner at the mom's. I feel like they all had some like characters. That even like the bad guys, like the corporate people in the original one, they all like felt like we kind of knew them and like got some characterizations. But in this one, I thought it was just Glen Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones, which is fine if they want to go that way. But I'm just saying, like, I think the rest of the cast were just giving kind of like nothing performances. And Daisy Edgar Jones, I really didn't like. I think I did think she was quite bad. I didn't see any chemistry at all between them two. Like I saw people early reactions saying this is like the rom-com of the summer or something with like their chemistry, which their press tour has been electric. I'll give them that. But the end was like, when we'll talk about like, you know, like everyone's tweeting about like, oh, they cut the kiss.
Kiss. Yeah. I know why, because they wouldn't be fucking believable if they left.
There's the whole movie, like it's supposed to be like, obviously, like, and you can tell from the marketing, like Daisy Edgar Jones and Glen Powell, like they're total opposites, but they want to get together. And it's like, I just didn't ever for 1 second feel like there was a ounce of chemistry with I thought like Glen Powell was like there. He's like a YouTuber dude doing his thing. And he's like obviously chasing this with them. And
it felt like co-workers.
Yeah, there was no chemistry at all. And like, I mean, other people agreed because George, you posted that poll and Daisy Edgar Jones got dogged in the percentage of votes.
George, Anna wanted me to tell you this. Anna was like, she saw it and she was like, how could you leave the best one? Then I checked your replies and every reply.
Dude, that quote she loves, blew up. That
she loves, is it Set It Up? I think it's called. I haven't seen it. But apparently that's like the best one. So.
I think Zoe Deutsch is like the chemistry with Zoe Deutsch is better than Sydney and Daisy. But
I haven't seen it. So I saw that one quote tweet blew up.
I figured very few people have seen Set It Up. And also I wanted to include the homies from Everybody Wants Some.
Yeah, and including there's a Jones was just good engagement bait, wasn't it? I got some bro. I replied to it, and I got some replies from like Daisy Edgar Jones like fan accounts, like really hating it. It was the weirdest thing. It's like automatically, it was so strange.
That's like the neat thing, I guess, about being an actor and actress is if you just have a one movie or one show you do good in, you're set for life. Because I think she's bad in Crawdads, I think she's bad in this, but like because Normal People was so good. She's like set for life, where she'll always.
She has like minions, like crazy minions. Yeah.
But I thought she was and the thing is, she's first billed in this movie, not Glen Powell, and she's like carrying, like she has the most screen time. I imagine if you broke it down by the numbers, she had to carry a lot of this movie on her back, and I just didn't really care for it. Like the whole like leaving for New York City and then torn between that and Oklahoma. Like I never felt like the affection felt real for Oklahoma, or like cause it's supposed to be like she moved on, but she has like still like a tie to her hometown and affection for it. And she has all this past we'll talk about in spoilers that kind of haunts her. And I don't know. Glen Powell is great though, but the rest of the cast didn't care for. Whereas I felt like the original Twister cast, everyone, I felt like even like the smallest characters, I felt like I kind of knew that person or what they're about. These people, like I thought Brandon Perea was pretty funny in this, but like I don't know, random, like not really much to that character. Feels so bad. Like I think Anthony Ramos like cheated on his girlfriend or something, so people kind of hate him. So maybe I don't feel bad for him. So maybe he's a loser. But the press tour is tough to follow because why are they dragging this dude around and everything? He's such a third wheel everywhere he goes.
It is weird. There were some scenes that I felt really awkward. Yeah. Sorry, just to get this out there as well, because I do want to try and say this, because I was looking at Daisy Edgar Jones. I was like thinking that she needs to play someone who's English. That'd be cool. I actually didn't. I thought she was pretty decent in Fresh. I don't like Fresh. I didn't like it.
I forgot about that.
But I thought she was pretty. I completely forgot about the film, but then I watched it. I'm like, I actually thought she was pretty cool in that with Sebastian Stan. So maybe she just needs the right dancing partner. Although, if you're not getting out of Glen Powell, I don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll talk about more on spoilers, even though like the kiss not being in it's not really a spoiler, but we'll save that for later. But for me, I also thought the disaster scenes were super fun, super electric, super high energy, but also like the original Twister, like with the whole like trailer home flipping onto the road that they drive through. Like I thought they just kind of swung for the fences a little more in Twister with like, but I think the final disaster moment of Twisters is like a huge fun epic blockbuster. But like even the scenes in Twister with like them under the underpass and them like in the cornfield, like you just basically when I went into Twisters, I expected 30 years later for the disaster scenes to be like way more crazy than they were, which they're still good in this, but I guess just I still just have that affection for the silliness of Twister going for it. But again, positive review. Like it just the cast is so silly in this with how many people. Like Katie O'Brien's in this for like a beat.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't even know David Corenswet was in it. I completely forgot. He was in it. I had no idea. And like Sasha Lane as well. Did you interview her, Tyler?
Yeah, for How to Blow
Up
a Pipeline.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's just like Lee Isaac Chung, just like the casting director, just like looked up like any young actor or actress who's like stock is kind of hot right now and just grabbed, which is like to be fair, like I mean the original Twister cast, like kind of everyone in that was, solid act. Like it was a deep cast as well from various degrees, but still very fun blockbuster. Just kind of everything I want out of it. Like I said, I have a lot of problems. Like I didn't believe like the romance, didn't really care for most of the cast, didn't really think a lot of the decisions were sensical, but I don't care. I had a fun time. Like it was a fun summer movie that it's like something you don't want to dissect too much. And it's just a hoot and holler in time to the theater. So we'll kind of get into spoilers now. And I think the best way to go through it would just be like chronological order. It's not gonna be like our longest deep dive we've ever done, but we have to start with the beginning, obviously, because it starts off immediately. So yeah, spoilers, skip ahead if you haven't seen Twisters. Again, it's not like in terms of grand scale of movies that spoiling something would like ruin things for you. I don't think this is like the end of the world, but still, if you haven't seen it, skip ahead. This begins with hot and heavy, like we were mentioning, immediately throws you into the action with a tornado instantly. And it's like Daisy Edgar Jones. Do you guys, George, you've seen it twice. How long is the gap from the opening scene? Is it 5 years later?
5, yeah.
It said 5 years. I think you said 5 years.
Yeah. So yeah, we have this opening tornado, and then eventually it goes 5 years. That's when the movie picks up. But this opening scene executes my favorite disaster movie trope of all time. And that's, I recognize every actor in this. Like Kiernan Shipka's in it as well because she was also in Long Legs, so she's having like a hot month. But my favorite trope ever of who I recognize all these. Who do I recognize the least? And they all just start getting killed. So I was like, okay. And Daryl McCormack's the one I recognize the most out of those, and he was the last one to get killed. So it was like my favorite trope ever. Like, you just go to the cast list and start at the bottom. You're like, yep, you'll be killed. And then it's like you just keep making your way up, killed. But I didn't expect them all to die right away.
I didn't expect him to die, especially.
Right.
I knew
that ending.
Every marketing bit they were in, it was only that one scene.
You are right. But
yeah, you knew all of
I thought it'd be like later on.
Cooked.
I thought it'd be like, so what happens is obviously it's like a school project, isn't it, at the time?
Yeah, they're like university researching.
Yeah. And Anthony Ramos is like, he's like back doing, whatever, his nerd business. I don't know. And then they go into it, and then obviously it's like what's the 28F? I don't like, you know what I mean? It was like something, 5 something. It was like the biggest possible E5, biggest possible one. And then they jump out the car because they're about to get taken in it. They start running. They're basically getting picked off one by one, but they're not just getting picked up again. Blown into it. It's crazy.
Here's one thing I don't get. They're in the car and they're saying, yo, we have to get out of this car because the car's about to be swept away. Wouldn't you think if a car gets swept away? No, they're also going to get swept away. They're much lighter than a car.
I suppose
the car got swept away almost immediately.
I suppose it's just the thing of they're trying to like find something to grab onto straight away, aren't they? Because they run over to that little like underpass, and then one guy as a make, he just gets like he gets flown in. Another one, the girl gets it, and then kind of what happens is he's like her boyfriend at the time is like shouting, grab onto me, and she grabs onto it's like a rail or whatever, and then he's like, it's okay, and he's like grabbing onto her, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna mellow down now. Friends are dead, cool. And then he just gets swept away. And actually, that kind of took me off guard. I didn't expect him to die that early for some reason. I should have. But that was cool. I really like that scene because I think it really like pushes you in from the get-go, and I appreciate that. I think it might be actually my favorite scene of the film, to be honest.
No,
I really, really like that.
They went for it right away. And the deaths were crazy. Like, there was so, like, And which is like
Final Destination,
right? But it's like
crazy.
they were just so casual how people just got like whipped away, which is like exactly how like a Twister it just comes through and just takes everyone. But I think there was like a not because like anytime there's movies involving science, there's always like science nerds that like try and break it down. And I think there's a nod to that in this one where they went to the underpass, and obviously in the original Twister they survive a Twister by going under the underpass. But I think there's like a comment made that when they like are gonna go under that, someone's like. Everyone knows like going under an underpass is the most dangerous, worst spot to be. So I was like, I feel like that was like a nod because I'm guessing some like science nerds were like pissed in the 90s, be like, an underpass would never save you from a Twister. This movie's so stupid. So, and this was like, don't go under an underpass. I would never save you, idiot. But yeah, crazy opening scene. Everyone dies. All these actors like are people recognized, Kieran Shipka and Daryl McCormack, and there's one other person at least that got killed that maybe I didn't recognize, but. Crazy, just seeing them picked off one by one, and Daisy Edgar Jones survives. Obviously, Anthony Ramos survives as well, but they were kind of get separated from there. And 5 years passes, and
this is the big issue, major issue in the film. I think this bit was done pretty woefully.
Like her in New York City.
Yeah,
it didn't feel as like when Anthony Ramos came back to see Daisy in the office. It didn't feel like I don't know.
It didn't feel like a rekindling.
Yeah,
no, not at all. It was like, they're the two survivors. They're the two survivors of like a massive tragedy, right? She's like started a new life. She's left. Is it Oklahoma? Yeah. And because she's been through all this trauma, she obviously stopped speaking to the relationship with her mom is like really boiled down. She tried to kind of separate it from the trauma, whatever, which is a very normal thing. Working this job, who cares? Anthony Ramos just comes in and he's like 5 minutes within me, and it's like, I need your help. Like, I can't do this without you. I try to do whatever he's fucking doing with the tornadoes, and then it's like she's like, I can't. So and then it goes like a minute, and she's there, and it's like, come on, man. Like, and the rekindling between the two of them, they're the two survivors. Felt nada in that moment.
Something that big with someone, you're not losing touch with them. Like you're going through life with them,
and you might lose touch, but it'd be a weird. It wouldn't be that. You wouldn't. The first thing you wouldn't just be like. I know the last time we saw each other was when like our friends died from this, right? But I really need your help with this tornado thing I've got back at home. You wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? It was like. Usual films, and again, it's tropey, and I get it. It's not like that essential to the story, and it's one of those films where I kind of let them off with things like this. But usual films, you'll get like a couple of meetings. There's some convincing. You learn kind of more about Daisy Jones' life there, how she's kind of separated from the trauma longer term, how she's helped that, how she's helped her mental state. You get none of it. It is with one conversation, and then like a phone call. She wakes up to like a phone call, or is it like a voicemail from him? I can't remember which of them.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, especially because the energy was so off when they met that I almost thought you would reveal something where it's like Anthony Ramos like blames her for the deaths or like there's some falling out, but no, it was like because like the energy is so off. It's like, oh, clearly she like they had a falling out and she doesn't like him anymore. But then he's like, I've tried calling, I visited your home, so it's like he keeps. Sounds like he kept reaching out and she just kept like not. And it's like so crazy to go through something that traumatic, and he's like going to her mom's house, like reaching out to her, and she's like, you haven't done any of my shit. It's like. This is really odd, but it felt very superhero movie-esque where she's like, that life is in the past. I can't do this anymore. And then, they get back into it.
Because how long would you say we're in New York? Like how long?
Like minutes of the movie-wise? Like
I think like 10 minutes, maybe 15
maybe
minutes.
Less.
Like 12,
maybe
12 and a half minutes. I needed like a little bit, just of how she's managed to separate. What's changed in her life? How did she get to that point? I don't need a fucking backstory, but I just need something to allow me to understand the trauma and kind of how it affected her, because it can't have affected her that much if she's gone from A to B that fucking quickly. That's the thing.
But she's still doing stuff related to like storms, but not like the storm.
But she's not in the tornadoes. Like she's going straight back into and she goes back in. Yeah,
help where she can, which I think is like what she like wants to do with storms.
She is,
which is
but then it's like
so easy for Anthony Ramos' character to convince her to come back, because he sends her this article. People died. It's devastating. What you could do.
Yeah, he like gaslights the fuck out of her. By the way, like he's
a little bit. Yeah, he's like, like you could.
People are dying. If you're not here right now, I think more people are gonna die.
Yeah,
but I get it. I just mean like, I get it. I just mean like, it felt unbelievable. And the fact they kind of just goes from A to B, and then she gets there, and they kind of do the first run around thing, and she goes straight back into it. You know,
I wish they had like fleshed that out a bit more, but also like you're watching a Twisters movie. I don't think.
Well, yeah, if it was a different film, I don't care. It's just it felt like very unbelievable.
Thinking, narratively, it's going to be a 10 out of 10. This is like a 10 out of 10, spectacle with some really riveting sequences, and we're probably not going to get the greatest character development out there.
I think it would have helped with their relationship, her and good old Anthony, who basically just like loves her. By the way, obviously,
yeah,
the whole time,
big time.
Yeah,
just
like the press tour. Yeah,
like he like it's literally said he like loves her, and I don't know. I feel like their kind of relationship just felt so forced. Their kind of friendship, and I don't know. Maybe that's just him. I don't know, but it felt really sudden and quick. And very lazy on my end. But again, it is a Twisted film, like you said. Who fucking cares? But
so from there, Javi, who's Anthony Ramos' character, that convinced her to. At this point, he's working for a tornado mobile radar company, which is like offering her like a 1-week position to come and join them, help test some new tornado scanning equipment. Basically, there's like a report that like a tornado is about to destroy town. Like you said, like people are going to be dying. It kind of gaslights her. She agrees. Okay, I'm going to come down. That's where, you're introduced to Tyler Owens, who's like a YouTuber, Twitch streamer known as a tornado wrangler. He's also in Oklahoma trying to also, like we kind of saw in the first Twister, like there's always people trying to capitalize on these disasters that destroy towns, whether it's for monetary gain, research gain. His gain is like, popular YouTube, get views.
It's like in Nope, it's a weird comparison, but it's like the whole documentization thing where people have to be documenting in order for it to happen. That's kind of the value they get. But then you learn down the line that they're quite, they're not the enemies here. I think that's the main thing, isn't it? Yeah, they're the good guys, exactly.
So then at this point we're in Oklahoma, and we got kind of all these. We have like the Daisy Edgar Jones side with Anthony Ramos being the link, bringing her to Tyler Owens, who's Glen Powell. Then at this point you have all of them ready for these Twisters to come, and then we just kind of disaster movie Twisters are coming. Initially, they're trying to set up this like scanner, but Kate, another one for the letterbox list of movies showing realistic depictions of panic attacks. Daisy Edgar Jones has a panic attack, stopping her from being able to help set up the equipment, so they have to drive away, and it kind of ruins all their testing equipment, barely being able to escape from the tornado. So honestly, what's funny is like the movie which is like just a classic disaster movie plot progression. But this movie felt so much like Godzilla -1 the whole time to me, with how like it starts off with like him, like, and Godzilla -1, he's like kamikaze, and all his like friends die. And it's like, that's Daisy Edgar Jones. And finally she's like trying to right that wrong and like defeat the beast once and for all. And like, it's a disaster movie trope, but it felt like so much Godzilla -1 to me. But I mean, I don't know. The middle of the movie, I feel like there's not a whole lot to talk about. They fail trying to get the equipment set up. Couple tornadoes come through town.
Few flirty interactions with
barely flirty,
but like flirty as in attempted. Like the scene where, for example, where she's like trying to trick him, and she's like, "I'll get you a drink," and then it's essentially because she's seen one that's coming, and it's the whole thing where it's just like the competitive chase and whatever. But I don't think that really works anyway in his favor. But
yeah, is there anything, George, you want to talk about the middle of the movie? For me, I just feel like the movie has the awesome beginning, the awesome ending in the middle. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, there's nothing really to like dive into.
It just happens, It's just that.
Yeah, no, I like the scene where Glen Powell just shows up to like her barn. I thought that was fucking hilarious. But that entire like following like 25 minutes just kind of like drags along very slowly, which is like the half hour where we were talking about where we don't even see Anthony Ramos. We're just kind of stuck at Daisy Edgar Jones's house, which this is why I think Daisy is like fine. I think she's like charming when she needs to be. I just don't think she's a skilled enough actor to like pull off like being a part of a massive production like this. Like, she's never worked with CGI before this, but like she's charming where she needs to be.
For me, it was like what you said. It was like kind of like accents a lot of the time. It just slips through,
I think a lot of it comes down to this film that wasn't meant for like the actors to showcase too, because even like like a proven powerhouse of an actress we just saw in the Iron Claw, she still has it. But in this, I was like, she's there as the mom. Like, I was like never like wow, this is more.
Oh shit! I didn't even put it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I just think that's why I didn't care for the cast is mainly just because like they didn't give him much to do, which is fine. And also like this movie does drag in the middle, but it's like one of those alternate realities where if this movie was just Twister, a complaint would probably be for me like give us some time to breathe. So this movie definitely gives us time to breathe because it throws you into it immediately, and the ending is crazy. But there's definitely lots of moments where
I think it's a decent balance between kind of the highs and lows.
For sure.
I've been seeing some like repeated criticisms where people are like, there are too many twisters in a Twisters movie, which I think is just the funniest criticism of that movie ever.
There's not
like
that.
I would have liked a twister every scene. That's it. I would have liked just 52 twisters back to back to back.
There's probably the same number of twisters and twisters as there was in Twister.
Yeah,
like it's usually like there's like an opening one, a middle one, and then the end one.
Like a couple, a couple little ones. I think
there was the first one where like Tyler Owens like throws the fireworks into the Twister. Then there was the middle one where like it devastated that town where you find out like what Anthony Ramos is actually doing, and then there was the big one at the end. Unless I'm
did we forget to mention where Anthony Ramos does the classic like trauma burden guilt trip where he does the whole it's your fault, my friends are dead or whatever.
Your science project too. My second eye screening that I went to, everyone was like, oh, like simultaneously in the theater. Also, hilarious moment in that moment where once Anthony Ramos said that, Daisy turns around and just happens to find her truck just perfectly fine.
No, it was his truck.
Yeah, his truck. But like
she just steals it. Like straight up, just steals it.
He gave it to her.
Did he?
Yeah. He gave it to her.
Oh, okay. Well, same thing.
But still, hilarious. One of my favorite disaster movie tropes where like destruction around, but the one vehicle that our character needs is just sitting there perfectly fine.
Oh, we forgot to mention the like rodeo scene.
Yeah, it's like the last thing to touch on before we get to
was that? Yeah, okay. Was that far in? Doesn't feel. Oh, it probably was actually, wasn't it? That was a cool scene. I like that one.
It's like it was like right before the climax. I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that was like after Anthony Ramos and Daisy Jones like had that like falling out, wasn't it? I think.
No, that was that scene. It was the rodeo. The tornado happened at the rodeo.
Oh, because that's the city that the town that. Yeah.
That's when Daisy goes to her mom's house. Yeah,
and that's when she drives to. Yeah. Okay, that was a cool scene. I like that one. It was fun.
Yeah, and I feel like what the science they're trying to do and what they're trying to do in this town is they have this like solution, like water iodide solution, and basically the point is like these tornadoes to like release these balls of liquids and then to weigh down the tornado to kind of collapse the funnel from continuing on. It's like this, it's basically like a bunch of water, and I think she like adds like some solution later, like silver iodide, I think is what it says here. So that's kind of what their goal is, like with the whole research here. In original Twister, it was like the goal is to start collecting data unlike anyone ever has by releasing these balls of sensors to help us be able to predict twisters better. This one is kind of like the next step. It's like, okay, we know how to predict these and know what they're doing science wise. Let's try and like collapse them, stop them from attacking these towns by releasing these liquids in it. Something I've never heard of. I don't know about Twister research. I imagine there's probably some research into it if it's in a movie, but to me, it seems like the most like probably not ever going to happen in real life thing. But it would be cool if you could just release some water, like just spray a hose at a Twister and just have it stop and putting some water in it. But at this point is kind of we're building up to the climax. A big tornado coming to El Reno, which is a nod to 2013 in El Reno, Oklahoma, one of maybe the most deadly tornado ever in terms of, and it was one of the most powerful. It was the EF5, absolutely destroyed that town. So kind of in a nod to that, that's what's taking place here. Huge tornado coming. This is where you get like the fire tornado, and they're all trying to chase us down. Oh, cool. The fire tornado is epic because it strikes an oil refinery, and then from there, just spins up the fire for the tornado that looked visually just incredible. But yeah, this is when you get, so like in the original Twister, you have the corporate people just trying to get like research and they don't care about the people or the lives at stake. They just want to do whatever they have to do in order to get what they're there for. And that's David Cornsweat's character, which he gets a cool scene where he gets his fun outburst scene. I was like, okay, David, I see you. He kind of crushed it. But then like one of the craziest things of the whole movie to me was, which I had to text Cam after. I was like, was like, did they just like insinuate that Anthony Ramos just like killed David Cornsweet? And like he's like, no, yeah, definitely David Cornsweet dies because he's like, I don't care about people's lives. And then Anthony Ramos is like, fine, get out of the car. Then he gets out of the car, just drives off, and you never see him again. And that tornado ravages that town. So like David Cornsweet dies in this movie Anthony Ramos had 5 years of guilt of his friends dying, but he's just cool of just like killing a man and just driving him. Yeah. This is insane. I was like, did that really just happen? I was like waiting for
is that fine? I mean, when he gets out of the car, they're kind of far from the town.
Yeah, but he has no car out. He's gonna have to jog back.
Maybe he died of like starvation, George. You don't know. Maybe he was like really far.
Yeah, maybe he survived, but it's just it's still crazy.
It'd be funny if he died. You know, that'd be a stupid scene.
Because
we forgot to mention the dumbest character as well. That fucking English like journalist guy. Like, what was his name? Ben or something, who was with Glen Powell. You always have to get these guys who just no one sounds like. Yeah, those English fucking guys ever. He was funny. I did like him. Kind of added again to like documentation side of it. Where are we up to now? I can't remember. So we got past
the end tornado. It's already been on fire at this point. David Cornsweet. I'm gonna just assume he dies. That's a funny interpretation that he's dead. But at this point, we kind of. So Daisy Edgar-Jones, Glen Powell is back in the town. They're trying to save the town. So as opposed to the original Twister where they're like so focused on the data, they're trying to just save people and save the town. So Glen Powell, Anthony Ramos, and them are back in town at this point. And Daisy Edgar-Jones decides to drive out the truck alone to release all these balls of like iodide water and collapse the tornado. So at this point, we kind of have her on her mission with the truck to drive out there and stop this thing while Glen Powell, Anthony Ramos, Sasha Lane, a bunch of other people are back in the movie theater, trying to protect the town, trying to get people safe. And that's just kind of the climax of the film. We get obviously Glen Powell has like the cement stuck on his leg and they have to save him.
Like Anthony Ramos comes out of nowhere and like pushes it
out of nowhere. But also,
how did I see him walking up as well? Like it's just like
Victoria said this too. When the water tower collapses, like zero water comes out.
Yeah,
like that would have killed all three of them without a doubt. That would have absolutely killed the three of them, no doubt. Which again, one of my favorite like disaster movie tropes is when characters just survive things that they absolutely should not have. At one point, one of my friends who I was sitting next to, he's a big Fast and Furious guy. He goes, Dom Toretto would have stopped this no problem. Imagine him rolling around in a Challenger or whatever, in a Charger.
But yeah, he gets saved by Anthony Ramos putting a 2x4 under a 2-ton slab of cement.
Yeah, like it was so easy.
Truck.
Yeah, but they save him.
The strongest dude in the world.
They get the town to go into the movie theater at this point, which I think is a really cool scene where tornadoes coming and basically you see it. We kind of not spoiled, I guess, but I saw a lot of images of this before it came out, so we kind of knew what was going to happen. The tornado starts getting sucked up in the movie theater. People are grabbing onto the seats that are like bolted into the cement floor. I think it's Sasha Lane is the one who's like holding on to Glen Powell, and you get that cool image that you saw.
Like basically flying, and he's like,
that was a really cool shot. The first shot where like the whole side wall of the movie theater collapses. Even Alex said this once we walked out of the theater. It was like the whole wall collapses, and you just see this massive tornado in the background. Which this movie has so many like, and seeing it in IMAX. I don't know if you guys saw it in IMAX or Dolby, but this movie has so many like insane, just like wide landscape shots. Even like the first scene where they're driving into the tornado, these like massive fields of wheat. Like it just looks cool. This is where like, as I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this is the dude that did Minari. Like he knows how to like shoot a landscape. Like he's very good at that shit. And it was so like evident in this movie that he just loves his land. My man Lee Isaac Chung loves land.
Do you guys know what film they were watching? Do you know?
No,
I actually can't remember what it was.
I've seen it. I think it was Frankenstein, which is kind of cool. I quite like that.
Oh, really?
Little Universal Horror in the little like theater they were in. Yeah, it was Frankenstein.
I love the shot at the end of when the tornado kind of dies down, where it's like shows out the screen of the movie theater, and you kind of see the town destroyed. Kind of just like a great symbolic shot of people like we're all watching this as a disaster movie, having fun with it, but there's like a real. Like people die in tornadoes every year,
especially in Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is like the tornado capital of the world.
Yeah, and especially in this town, El Reno, that this movie takes place in, which is like where the craziest, most deadly one ever happened.
Like, do you think people in Oklahoma have like PTSD? Do you think they're going to watch this movie?
I mean,
This has
okay.
this has to be a horror movie for them.
No,
So-
I mean, like I saw TikToks of people like it was very popular in Oklahoma on premiere night, but
I mean, there's a song about Oklahoma, isn't there? So I mean,
yeah,
it's
I
like
don't know.
it's like an abode to Oklahoma as a place. Like it literally is.
yeah,
Like,
it's like a love
it's a
story
tribute.
to Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's so.
The spirit
I
of the
don't
town,
know.
spirit of the people.
I don't know. Obviously, we don't get tornadoes here. I mean, I know that Oklahoma's like ridden with tornadoes every year, but I imagine obviously the percentage of those that are actually destructive is probably quite minimal. No,
I mean, there deaths aren't super common in tornadoes.
destructive
but
in terms of
destruction's always happening. In terms of human
destructive
life,
in terms of human life. Sorry, not
Right,
in terms
but
of
no, yeah.
building stuff.
buildings and damage will always happen, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah, especially if you like in places with like basements, like in Minnesota, there's some tornadoes growing up, but we have basements there. But in like Oklahoma and Texas, there's no basements because the ground's too hard to dig underground. So, and basically in like America, for non-American listeners, there's a place in America called like Tornado Alley, which is just kind of like Oklahoma, surrounding states, kind of like the center of the country, which is like the hot spot for where most tornadoes hit. Kind of like how like Florida, Texas areas where most like hurricanes hit. Tornado Alley's like the plains of America, the Great Plains in the middle, where most tornadoes are happening. But yeah, they're always destructive to varying degrees. Most don't occur like have any deaths usually, but you know when they do, not a ton. So it's rare for one to be super disastrous. But yeah. So basically, Daisy Edgar Jones kind of overcomes her panic attack, gets to release the balls in the twister, collapses it, saves the town. I mean, there's still a lot of destruction, but obviously there's a point where you know that whole town was going to lose lives. The whole town was going to be destroyed, but she was saved. She saved them. They go out and find her. And she was, her car was overturned, but she was okay. No blood, no bumps, no bruises. What you got, George?
This is where my theater started laughing when they pull her out of the car. Glen and Daisy like have this like cute moment where Glen is like, "Oh, you did it. Like you saved this town." And then the camera just like very awkwardly pans to Anthony
Ramos.
And he's like,
funny.
"You did it, Kate. You did it." And my theater started dying.
Oh yeah. I do remember that bit.
My theater both times. My theater was like, "Man, this dude is just such
so
an
I thought they were about to kiss right in front of him too, and I was like,
yeah,
and he's just sitting right
He's
there.
just there, like staring. It was so awkward.
That was so funny,
because, like,
dude.
They filmed the kissing scene, which obviously we didn't get in the movie. So they were obviously trying to push a romance, but without the kissing scene in the movie, it almost feels like they were trying to push like a three-sided friendship as opposed to a romance. But like it still felt like a romance between Glen and Daisy, even if that was not
at the end as well. He's always there. This guy is like always lingering. And then that cringe line he says though, when so Daisy's like getting on the plane and he's like, and then Glen like runs after it and he's like, "Go get him, champ," or something like that. I was like, "Oh, fuck it."
Oh, well, that's what I was gonna say. At least at the end of the movie, like he's pushing the romance. So like he maybe knows he's like being third wheeled. He's like, "Oh fuck."
I mean, I'd hope so because that guy's annoying. He's just always there. Like, imagine being Glen Powell in that situation, just lingering.
One thing that I find annoying because like obviously the whole kiss being cut from the end and it was like making its rounds on Twitter. I saw people saying like, "Oh, like they just decided to make it more like just like a non-sensual like friendship, like as opposed to like
no, they didn't."
But like the thing is, like if you film the scene, that means the entire movie and the writing of the film, you're making it. So by removing that scene, like people are all of a sudden saying, like, "Oh yeah, they decided to make it like a non-romantic friendship." It's like, no, like you can't just remove one scene that would change everything in the movie.
Or maybe they did film the movie with the intention of like not making it a romance, and then last minute they were like, "Let's just film a kissing scene just to see if it would work." And maybe that's why they excluded it, because they maybe rewatched it back with the kissing scene and they were like, "This feels maybe a little forced. Like, let's just exclude it."
I think that the opposite. I think they didn't include it because like
I will say
believable at that point.
After I did not see the images of the kissing scene until after I watched the movie for the first time. I did not once think after the movie, like, "Damn, I wish they kissed." Like,
I was hoping it would.
Afterwards,
I don't think it didn't earn a kiss.
Yeah, exactly.
This is gonna be such a Mandela effect. I swear, like years from now, like a trivia question be like, "Did they kiss at the end of the movie?" And everyone's gonna be like, "Yes," because it's like the scene is set up to be such a classic rom-com ending of going for a kiss. But it's like I swear in a few years you're gonna be like, wait, they didn't kiss then? It's Twisters. But the thing is, like, obviously it's like she's like going back to New York at this point, and then just like a weird. It's just like it's almost silly how like this movie's supposed to like the shot of the movie theater I love because like kind of saying like we kind of watch these movies for entertainment on Twisters and natural disasters. We watch disaster movies, but this is impacting real people's lives and livelihoods of these people's these businesses. But then like the end of the movie just so nonchalantly is like, sorry, flights are delayed because we have strong winds and like tornadoes in the area. I'm like, it's just like throwing these. I was like, wait, I thought we just showed this whole movie these like serious things to take seriously, and now when like a rom-com moment's gonna happen, it's like. Actually, you can stay with Glen Powell because a tornado's coming to this airport, so you don't have to go anymore.
Well, I thought I actually liked like that. I'm going to say this. I like that there was no kiss. I don't know if anyone agrees with that, but
yeah, absolutely.
I like that like she's standing in the airport, and I like that the reason they didn't kiss is because, or I guess the intercom says like flights are delayed because of tornadoes. They kind of look at each other and they were like, yeah, we have to go help people. Like, that's our job. Like, that's what we enjoy doing. That's what we have figured out how to do. So, like, I think a kiss would have been wildly forced because their whole, like, their relationship kind of developed into, like, this, we are really good together at helping people. So, like,
they're co-workers.
Yeah,
they're literally co-workers.
It felt more like, it felt like all planes are grounded due to an incoming tornado. They look at each other, they're like, yeah, we got to go help some fucking people right now. Like, we figured it out. We know what
superhero shit.
So, yeah, literally, it felt like a superhero ending.
Yeah.
I was chuckling in the theater too when Daisy Edgar Jones was like walking into the airport while he was like about to go chase her because like she looked like someone who's never been on a flight in her life. Like she was like standing in the airport, like staring at the sky. Like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, no one under the age of 50 in an airport looks at the things that say like which gate you go to. No one.
I kind of do sometimes. So I'll
you travel like pretty rarely by flight though. Like it's like if you fly.
True. Yeah. Well, we don't need to. Like you're flying in your own country,
right.
aren't you?
She's a New York City gal at this point.
Yeah,
she's been on a flight, but she looks so lost
to an airport.
Yeah, but before that even happens, I thought like because it's funny because like the end of the movie is like, oh, they'll be together and fight tornadoes or whatever. But before he runs in after like him and Anthony Ramos in the car, then the Twister's car, they dropped her off at the airport, and the cop who was that guy from who I've seen in the fantasy football show, The League, Paul Scheer, which I don't know if you guys saw that fun fact, the clip where he's the only character who's in both Twister and Twisters.
Guy. Yeah. I saw it on TikTok yesterday.
He's the cop at the end, but in original Twister, his mom was like, yeah, his mom was in the movie, like pregnant with him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but that doesn't. That's what I thought. But then that
doesn't add up.
He was born in 76.
I don't know what that clip. I think he just trolled the whole world. And they just like
how does that? It's like he would have been 20.
Yeah, unless they filmed that movie 20 years before they released it. I don't know. But yeah, that went viral. I think he just trolled the whole world because I'm like looking at his Wikipedia. I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Was that seen on a TV? Maybe I can't remember there being a TV.
Maybe like a news.
Like a news thing.
Still, that'd be weird. Then 20 years earlier. Really weird. So basically what it was, Paul Scheer in an interview said he's the only person who's been in Twister and Twisters because his mom was pregnant with him in Twister and he was in the belly. He was born 20 years before Twister. I think he just trolled everyone with this. But also kind of cool. There's a disgruntled motel guest in this movie played by James Paxton, who is Bill Paxton's son. Yeah. Obviously, rest in peace, Bill Paxton. But no, what I was gonna say is they're in the car dropping her off, and they're in Twister's vehicle, and the cops basically like, you can't park here like any airport, like you got to get out of your move. And then he's like, finally, he's like, fuck it, and just like presses the button to like drill into the ground. Destruction of federal property. Like,
yeah, that was crazy, by the way.
So they're not going to be together. Glen Powell's going to prison.
That was at an airport. That was crazy. That's like a terrorist act. So that was like insane.
They're not stopping tornadoes. He's going to the penitentiary.
Oh my god!
Literally,
I remember watching. I forgot. I was like, "What the fuck? This is
like,
crazy."
They're not just getting in his car driving away. There's cops.
You can't play with airports.
Yeah, he's literally nailed his car. That was the craziest shit.
I will say one thing about this is a complete like separate conversation, but I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. There are fan service moments in movies and TV shows that I very much like, i.e. like Darth Vader in Ahsoka. There are fan service movies that I very much dislike, like Mr. Fantastic, John Krasinski in Multiverse of Madness. I would have loved if Helen Hunt showed up in this movie. I think like maybe Daisy and Glen have a conversation where they're like, we need experience. We need more help. We need something. And then Helen Hunt comes in, and maybe there's like this emotional conversation that Helen Hunt has with Daisy Edgar Jones about losing a friend. And that friend maybe would have been Bill Paxton's character, since he obviously would not have been able to reprise his character since he's deceased. But it could have been like a very like cool emotional moment where Helen Hunt was like, he died doing what he loved. And maybe like in the universe of Twisters, he died because of a Twister. And, Helen Hunt has been carrying that. I don't know. That's like what I was thinking. I would have loved like a fan service moment where Helen Hunt like shows up.
I would have liked fan service moment where she has like a Stan Lee type cameo. Like she just like works in like a shop or something. That'd be cool.
I think I would have liked that.
No one knows. Like she just says like 2 lines. Oh, it's Helen Hunt, Because I think it kind of the only issue is if you kind of relate the characters, it kind of goes past the legacy sequel at that stage. Because you can watch this without watching the film. We didn't even mention the connection is the what's it called?
The balls.
Yeah. That's like the only connection. That's like
and it's called Dorothy. It was also called Dorothy.
Dorothy. That's
Dorothy.
That's the name. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have liked
like a really cool, like emotional 5-minute scene where like Helen Hunt is like, listen, like I've lost friends too. Like it happens.
Just out of nowhere. Just like comes up behind us, like, listen, I've lost friends too. And Daisy Jones like, who the fuck are you?
The way Glen Powell just showed up at the bar.
Yeah. Or at the airport at the end.
Helen Hunt just walks in randomly into her mum's house. And she's like, listen.
Or it's revealed that Helen Hunt was Daisy's mom. Like,
yeah, like she takes the mask off at the end and it's Helen Hunt. That'd be crazy.
Reveal that Helen Hunt creates the Twisters for vengeance for losing her friends. Now she is taking vengeance out in the world. She's Twister. Spinning up some Twisters. Yeah.
She's like a Paul Dano Batman type character we meet at the end. That'd be crazy.
But yeah,
they should get else to write these films, man. We're way better. He's the funniest fuck.
That's all we kind of have for Twisters. Unless you have anything else to mention.
No,
that's it. Fun summer blockbuster.
Movie.
Yeah, like I have a lot of gripes with the movie, but I would recommend it to everyone. I would recommend everyone to go out to see it in the theater. I got a couple people in DMs that messaged me saying like, "Oh, like, let me know how this is. I think I might just wait for streaming." And I'm like, if you ever want to watch Twisters, watch it in theaters. Like,
this is not like a wait for streaming film.
If you want to wait for streaming, just don't ever watch Twisters. Like, there's just no point. Like, this is not a movie that I think will lend itself well. I mean, no, it'll still be fine to watch, but I think like if you're interested at all in this movie, there's no reason to not go see it in theaters.
And if you have like an IMAX screen near you, I would just try and prioritize
40X. I would.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I've never done 40X. I think 40X with this would be really fucking.
It better be like the final scene of the movie, or else close shop, go bankrupt. If you're not giving me that, I want the 40X screening like a usher to come out in the beginning and be like, 2 of you are dying during this screening. I can't tell you who, but 2 of you are not making it out. That would be electric, dude. Oh man, that'd be 200 people in the theater. 2 of you are dying. I can't say.
Listen, 2 of you.
Yeah,
you just get like pushed out of there.
A guy next to you gets blown away. You're like, oh shit!
You're just like, what the fuck? That was so realistic.
We can end our chat on Twisters there, but 4-star for George, 3 for me, 3.5 from Seth, 4 or 4.5 from Cam.
4.5 from Cam.
4.5 from Cam.
I'll actually check to see if he's. Keep going, Carl. I'll check.
First movie where we've just went right down the line.
Oh shit! Yeah, it might be actually. Yeah. I think it might be this year. I can't think of another example.
But Cam was a big fan. So now we got a little natural disaster trivia for you guys that I prepped.
Wait, natural disaster trivia or natural disaster
like disaster movies?
Okay, I was like that's geography and why.
Yeah. Hurricane Sandy and Seth's gonna.
Yeah, so it's disaster movies. All disaster movies are fair game, but it's mostly natural disaster related.
Okay. I'm gonna be quite bad at this. I reckon George likes this shit.
There's definitely some movies in here that like you just neither of you have seen because like there's only so many. So but yeah, so there's 3 categories. So like basically like what the category means is that's what the answer is going to be. So like what actor am I talking about? What movie am I talking about? And what type of disaster am I talking about?
I don't have to answer it like Jeopardy do. I can just say
no, and I didn't even type it in like Jeopardy answers because it's so annoying.
It really isn't, right? Yeah.
But yeah, we'll start with Seth. So you can just pick a random number. Like I said, I think like half of these you guys probably won't know. So don't feel discouraged.
Let's go.
My disaster film lore is not up to speed.
Well, how does it? Wait, I can't. How does it work? Do we take turns or do we like buzz in? I can't remember.
I think so. I'm telling Seth you can start, but yeah, you buzz in once I read the question. But I have to read the whole thing. Yes.
Okay, I'll go. Movies 300.
Okay, so I have to read the whole question, and then once you say ding, remember if you ding in and you don't get it right or don't have an answer, you lose 300 points.
Yeah.
So movies for 300. This movie follows the fateful events of the Granite Mountain Hotshots. This movie follows the fateful events of the.
I have no idea.
Oh, you're gonna tell me the fucking name of the movie? I'm gonna be pissed. Did we not review this on? Oh,
we did review it on.
What is Only the Brave?
I wasn't in that review. You fucker, Tyler.
That's fair. Hey,
I even know who directed that. It was Joseph Kaczynski. Maybe.
This is the Miles Teller, Joe Kaczynski one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Joe Kaczynski. Yeah. I haven't seen it.
Wildfires being the natural disaster there. Only the Brave is correct. George, now you get to pick the next category. And
I'll stick to movies, and I'll do 100.
Movies for 100. Remember, I have to read the whole question. The director of Speed from 1994 also directed this thrilling movie about natural disasters.
Oh.
I feel like I know this, and that's going to really annoy me that I can't think of it.
I don't think I know this.
Oh, nah. I feel like I've seen this.
What is Twister? Dumb.
Correct.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
So those are back-to-back. Real Patreon reviews help you out there with the Twister. Because we reviewed Speed. Yeah. 400 to George. Next category.
I'll go to
me again. George.
It's George.
100.
Okay.
Actors for 100.
Yeah, actors.
This
for
current
100.
MCU star once starred as a young boy surviving a tsunami in The Impossible.
Ding.
Seth.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland is correct.
Yeah.
Tom Holland
I haven't seen that film. I kind of want to watch it. It looks pretty cool.
I did when I was like 15, and I haven't seen it since. But let's see. Seth, now you get to choose the next category.
Actors 400.
Ooh, actors for 400. This eventual DCEU star starred as a geologist investigating seismic activity in Dante's Peak.
What?
This eventual DCEU, so he became a DCEU actor, starred as a geologist investigating seismic activity in Dante's Peak.
No idea. I'm not even going to guess.
I didn't.
Wait, you watched Dante?
Yes. Hold on. Shut up. DCEU. When was Pierce Brosnan ever? Hold on. When was Pierce? Oh yeah. Who is Pierce Brosnan? He was in Black Adam.
Well done. I honestly wrote that. I didn't. To be honest, I threw this trivia together fast. Didn't check any of your letterbox, so I just assumed Dante's Peak was one. Where I was like, I don't think either of you seen it.
I don't even know what that is.
I watched this a while. I watched that and like some random volcano movie back to back for some weird reason.
I've never seen this film.
Well, I didn't know George had this prep ready.
300.
I'm telling you, George likes his disaster films. Mm-hmm. He does.
Actors for 300.
Yeah.
This actress plays Dwayne Johnson's daughter in San Andreas.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. Forever. It's what's her face from oh fuck me.
Say what it's from, Joe. What she's from, then I can.
It's who is Alexandra Daddario? Well, I was thinking of White Lotus.
It is Alexandria Daddario. I have
Who
not.
the hell is that?
True Detective,
you know who
Baywatch.
Is Baywatch?
Haven't seen. Oh, I have seen. Wait, the original? But no, you mean
I'm trying to think like the most famous movie she's been in. Baywatch, I mean, did pretty well numbers wise.
That was shit though. I don't remember that film.
It's probably the most famous thing she's been in.
You think I've watched
True Detective season 1?
I haven't seen it.
Yes. I forgot about you. No, you're right.
But this movie came out when she was like 29. I haven't seen it. So she like she's supposed to be like an 18-year-old. Like if she's his daughter. She
was in Hall Pass with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. Oh, sorry, Jason Sudeikis and Owen Wilson. Shout out that film.
Let's do disasters for 100. I'm curious.
Disasters for 100. What does Adam McKay use as a symbol for climate change in his 2021 film starring Leonardo DiCaprio?
I hate this song. I can't remember. Fuck.
George.
What is a meteor or a comet? A meteor.
Which one? Lock one in.
What is a meteor?
Can I say comet? Just as
Meteor is
like a-
incorrect. Seth.
What is a comet?
Comet's correct.
Yeah.
Seth gets 100 points.
Yeah.
So now, Seth, you get to choose the next category.
Give me actor. No, give me movies. 400.
Don't
Movies
you
and
didn't
400.
take 100 off my score, by the way. Don't forget.
Oh
to do
yeah,
that.
true. Hey, I respect it. Respect the honesty.
I'm playing a fair game here.
Did you say 200 or 400?
400.
400.
Movies?
Kirsten Dunst starred in this apocalyptic drama about a rogue planet heading towards Earth.
Ding.
Seth.
Melancholia.
Melancholia is correct. Have you seen
That's
it?
a banger. Yeah, it's a bang. It's really
Lars
good.
von Trier.
Yeah, it's really good.
Seth, next category. Comeback.
Um,
Emotion.
Movies 500.
Movies
Oh,
are
shit.
500. This movie from 1978 starring Michael Caine and Henry Fonda has been described as a dumber version of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
I want to say this, but I also don't want to say this.
Risky.
'Cause this-
Risky for 500.
Is it? Oh, I can't even ask that. I think I know what this is. But
You're
it's a
down. I would
500.
risk it for the biscuit.
No, because I don't. I'm not that hungry. I don't know, man.
No
Nothing.
answer, just so you know.
All right.
No,
answer. Okay.
Tyler, can I guess anyway? And it doesn't count if I get it right. It doesn't count if I get it right.
No.
No, because I just want to know from my own. I just
Well,
want to
fine.
know.
It doesn't count if you get it right. Sure. What was your guess? Would it be?
It's not Jaws 2, is it? Or 3?
It's not.
Okay.
No.
Okay. that's
But
fine.
wouldn't have mattered anyways. The answer is The Swarm.
What the hell is that?
It's the
Never
dumber
heard
version of Alfred
What the
Hitchcock's
fuck
The
is-
Birds. Duh.
That isn't possible because the birds is dumb anyway. You know.
So that must be a very disrespectful critic review of the movie. then.
Yeah.
It's still Seth. Next category.
I don't like disasters. I don't know. I got actors 200.
Actors for 200. This future comic book movie star once played an oil driller that is sent to stop an asteroid from destroying Earth.
Ooh, I don't know if I know that.
Future
An
comic
oil?
book movie star played an oil driller sent to stop an asteroid from destroying Earth. So who is the actor I'm talking about?
An oil driller. I don't know if I've seen this. That doesn't ring a bell.
A future comic book movie star once played an oil driller that is sent to stop an asteroid from destroying Earth.
I think I've seen that. That doesn't ring any bells for me. at
Oil
all.
driller is what's confusing me.
I'm gonna pass on that one. I haven't even got a guess. I have no idea.
Hold on.
Well,
Future
time's
comic-
up.
Oh damn!
Ben Affleck in Armageddon. Armageddon.
Okay, I haven't seen Armageddon in years. To be fair, yeah. So
Okay.
I wonder
No
about that.
points. It's still Seth.
Go disasters for 400.
What triggered the Earth's core becoming overheated in the disaster movie 2012, setting the apocalypse in motion?
I like 2012, but I haven't seen it in like 4 years. So I am not. I could probably do an educated guess, but I also.
What triggered the Earth's core? I think I know the answer, but I don't want to risk it on 400.
That's what
Actually,
I
I'll
mean.
risk it. I'll risk it. If I get it wrong, it'll be fun. That will be.
I hope
tied
you
up.
don't say what I'm thinking right now.
What's the answer,
triggered
George?
Or becoming overheated? Is it what is? I don't know how to word this. Excessive radiation.
Not excessive radiation. So we're back to a tie game. Seth, do you have a guess, or do you want to
No,
leave it a tie?
no.
Solar flares,
I-
lighting, heating up the universe.
Yeah.
Directed by Roland Emmerich, by the way, who's one of the funniest filmographies of all time. Dude, loves-
Independence Day is good. I like Independence Day. I'm not-
and Day After Tomorrow, like all he makes is disaster movies. So like,
Yeah,
he's
and
got
they're all like-
Okay,
Moonfall.
Moonfall.
Dude's got to have like,
agree.
I bet all of the money he's ever made from directing has the craziest bug out bunker ever.
We're on a streak of like misses right now, aren't we?
Yeah,
we
but
make
it's
it.
tied 600, and we're back to
I'll go-
Seth's category again.
I'll go movies 200. Oh well, the only one left anyway.
Movies 200. A hurricane becomes a nightmare beyond your wildest imagination in this 2019 Cam Walsh special.
What is crawl?
Oh shit! I still don't know what that film is. Like I refuse to watch that shit.
I knew it was about alligators. All I knew, and I was googling disaster movie. I saw crawl. I'm like, disaster movie about alligators. Like, oh, it's a hurricane sweeps in the alligators.
Okay.
That's
I
funny.
sounded like- okay, great.
Unironically, not a bad movie.
George,
Let's we'll
category.
finish off actors for 500.
This man starred as a radio host during Roland Emmerich's 2012.
A radio. Jesus Christ, man. I can remember 2 actors in 2012, and I don't think it's one of those. I know it's not one of those.
I know the actors. I'm just forgetting which ones are the radio hosts.
It's probably like probably third or fourth bill.
I can only think of the 2 top billing, and I know one of them wasn't a radio host.
I know.
I can't think of the other actors.
I have a name. I'm not throwing it out there. I don't remember.
I can only remember the 2 top people.
Risky at this point in the game, anyways.
I also just guess, but if I get it right,
yeah, it won't count. What was your guess?
Was it Woody Harrelson's character? I'll be so mad if that's
that hurts. That hurts.
Oh, that when you said that, I was like, that's it. I couldn't remember Woody Harrelson.
I kept going back and forth between Woody Harrelson and Chiwetel Ejiofor, which fuck.
I wouldn't even go that either, to be fair.
It's okay. We got George is still you for the categories. 3 left.
We'll go disasters for 200.
What type of natural disaster is at the core of the 1936 film San Francisco?
I'll say ding.
Yeah.
Just to like hurricane. I have no idea. Okay, great. I've never seen the film, but okay.
I imagine neither of you have.
I'll just go tsunami.
Not a tsunami. Earthquake. I was thinking.
I figured if Seth lost 200, it wouldn't hurt if I lost 200.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably like 6 different flavors of natural disasters. You probably San Francisco, probably not a blizzard. You figure out earthquake.
Yeah.
Neither of you got it, so both of you lose points. It's still the same gap. 2 questions left. George, what category you want?
We'll go disasters for 300.
Okay. Before Don't Look Up, Roland Emmerich directed this climate change symbolic movie in 2004.
Ding.
Seth.
Shit.
Oh,
no.
Oh,
no.
Don't Look Up was Adam McKay.
I know, but I'm in terms of another climate change.
No, I don't fucking know it, man.
All
I fucked up big time.
And Seth. George, do you have any guesses?
No, wait, I do have a guess. Independence Day.
Not Independence Day.
I know it's not Independence Day. I know
it's day after tomorrow.
It is the day after tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
So into the final category. George has the win. Well, actually, no, because if George guesses and gets this wrong, and Seth guesses and gets it right,
crazy.
That would be
crazy. I like that tomorrow as well. I can't believe I didn't get that.
We'll go disasters for 500.
Oh, is that the one you're going for? You sure you don't want to go to the other ones?
What type of disaster is Gerard Butler trying to save his family from in Greenland?
Ding.
Seth.
I don't fucking know. What type of disaster? What film is this?
Greenland is the movie. It's from 2020. It's a COVID movie.
Like
not about COVID, but was released directly.
Is it set in Greenland?
I don't know. It's just titled Greenland.
Because I'm just thinking like snow. Let's go. You know what? Let's switch up a bit. Let's go like a Let's go like a flood or something. Even though that's not possible. If it's in Greenland.
There's not a flood. George, you have a guess? Even if you guys get it wrong, you still win.
Listen,
so throw out something.
I did this. The answer is either meteor or comet, and I fucked this up for Don't Look Up. So I'm gonna do what I didn't do the other time. I'm gonna go with comet this time. A comet strike.
Good job.
Wow. I got smoked badly. Jesus
I thought you were about to get 2 for 2 on the 50-50 wrong. You're like, I guessed meteor and it was wrong, so I'm going to guess meteor. You wouldn't do comet twice. I did do comet twice. But yeah, there we go. Fun little disaster trivia. Let me know how you did playing along at home with the actors, movies, and disasters. Some of these movies, like I said, neither of us have seen. None of us seen The Swarm or San Francisco or Greenland. Let us know if you've seen them and they're worth our time. Probably not, but alas, we continue on. So now we're done with the disaster portion of the episode. Got some trailers and news to go through. Not a whole ton this week, but big trailer yesterday, 2 days ago, was Deadpool Wolverine's final trailer. Revealing the big reveal, which I don't know. How do we feel? Do we want to talk about it since it was in a trailer, so it's not a spoiler, or should we just?
Yeah, I mean now it's not a spoiler, but also again, Cam texted us like a discussing film post from like a year ago saying like Daphne Keane was confirmed to be in Deadpool. This is like the equivalent of like, okay, this is what my mind immediately went to. Seth, do you remember when you spoiled Argyle on Twitter? And then your defense was like a discussing films tweet from like 3 years ago that basically spoils itself.
Yeah.
From your POV, correct, but like also no one remembers a discussing film tweet from years ago, which is like how I felt about the Daphne Keane news. Like no one remembered that Daphne Keane was confirmed. No one. Like that news came out 2 years ago.
Is she the girl in Logan? Is that who it is?
Yeah, she's X-23. Yeah, she's the little girl in Logan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But like beyond like spoiling that, I think it's still just weird that why are we dropping a trailer for what? When does the movie?
A week.
Drop? 5 days? A week before the movie drops. Like
it's weird. Because we'll talk about later. The latest Alien Romulus trailer was the final trailer, and that's coming out in about a month. Whereas this is a week later, and this is the final trailer. Like that's crazy to do that early, and especially like a movie like this where this is a $1.5 to $2 billion movie guaranteed.
It's like a panic move, isn't it? It's like a panic move. Like, oh shit, we haven't marketed enough. Let's get this big thing in that we had, this big like cameo, whatever it is, a character reveal. But like, they didn't need that. It was set for a massive like opening week.
I'm gonna be honest. I wish Cam were here to like maybe argue for or against this point. Daphne Keane is great. She's great in Logan. She's great as this character. I don't think like spoiling Daphne Keane in the movie is going to convince people who weren't on board to now be on board. Like I don't think she has that impact.
0% or 100% of people who care about Daphne Keane as X-23 were already seeing this movie regardless.
Exactly.
There's no new people that are like,
oh, anything else other than Logan?
Honestly, I don't know. Not that I know. I do not know.
Oh no, she actually has a. I meant more. She's been in one other film ever, and it's got 700 logs. No one has ever heard of it. But so basically, I agree.
They spoiled this cameo in order to get Daphne Keane's third cousins to be interested in going to see the movie. Those are the only new people added to the roster. There's the only new tickets being bought. It's like her high school friends and be like, "Oh, she's in it. I'll go see it." So they're getting $200 extra.
It's like a panic move. It's a weird panic move for no reason. I don't.
And you have to imagine, like,
go Tyler. Go.
Basically, what I was gonna say is you'd have to imagine, unless maybe they're smarter than we're thinking. This is like the 8th, because Marvel's cameo fast these days. This might be like the 8th biggest cameo in the movie. So like throwing this in the trailer doesn't matter.
That's what everyone kept like replying. Like I tweeted like this is such dog shit, and everyone kept replying. Like even Movies Man replied. He's like, yeah, because they're going to be way bigger cameos in the movie. And I'm like, what is leading you to believe that? Like,
we've done
even if there is, it still doesn't matter. Because like, why you don't need to include that one anyway. You just you don't. Like, there's no like panic that need. I mean, what Tyler? You'll know this. You're good at these numbers. What was Deadpool's projection for the opening weekend? It came out recently.
I don't know that, but it's over $1 billion. Both other two.
Like it was crazy high.
Not over $1 billion for opening weekend, but over $1 billion.
Yeah. We've spoken before. We think it's going to earn like 1.5 plus. I think most have said that. George, are you eating peanut butter right now?
Yeah.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
Fair enough.
Is it crunchy or smooth?
No, smooth. Oh, don't disrespect me like that, dude.
No, I respect. I'm a smooth guy myself, so I respect it.
No,
but yeah. They don't need a panic move, it feels like, which is weird because they don't need to panic.
It was a weird. I don't know. We could have done without it. Like even though, like, oh yes, we knew about this 2 years ago. No one fucking remembered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an odd one. I remember like the last time I like cared about the MCU was like going into like Multiverse of Madness. So what is that? Almost 2.5 years ago at this point.
Yeah,
been a minute. And I remember because when I go to MCU movies, I'm not looking for the greatest cinema. I'm looking for a fun time. And I remember going into that was like the biggest movie ever in terms of people theorizing billions of freaking cameos. So then when I got to the movie, I was like a little disappointed. I was like, oh, John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic. Kind of lame.
Was it really that? Was it that big with cameos? I wasn't.
Yeah, people thought like that. Like, yeah, we'd have like Toby Spider-Man coming in. We'd have like all these people.
Interesting.
Yeah, people like that was because I was like right about when I was starting TikTok.
Yeah, it was the first MCU movie that like introduced the multiverse like to that extent, where like you knew Doctor Strange was going to be jumping from like verse to verse. So like
X-Men would be in that one, like in terms of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. People were like, Hugh Jackman's going to show up. We're going to see Toby Spider-Man. Like, and all you got was John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic and, Peggy Carter as Captain America.
Yeah.
Who all lasted like 30 seconds. So basically what I've learned from that, it's like, if you're ever excited just for like the cameos in an MCU movie, you'll probably be disappointed because whatever you're thinking in your head is never going to be what actually, it's always going to be like 3 pegs lower than that. But then we also got Lady Deadpool, more of her. We got like a full body look. And I think what the betting odds have to be like 99.9% is Blake Lively and 0.1% is anyone else, you'd have to say. If it's Taylor Swift, I would love that because it'd be so stupid and hilarious if it's Taylor Swift, dude. I want that just because the internet's reaction would be insane if it's Taylor Swift.
Yeah, because all the Deadpool haters would come out and like give this movie a 5-star because Taylor Swift's in it.
Or the opposite, actually, to be honest. It'd
the
be
Deadpool
like,
fans would be pissed that she's in it. Yeah, it could be.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. It comes out this week. It should do crazy numbers because
When does it come out for you guys?
Probably Thursday, I'd imagine. I don't know.
Why do we get the MCU a day early? I've never understood that. I'm so excited to see it on Wednesday. Just to let you go, I'm not seeing
Oh,
it.
you're going opening day?
No, I'm not seeing it. I'm not even on the pod next week. So fuck you guys.
I don't think either of you two are on the pod next week.
No, to clarify, I might be able to. I've got UFC this week, but it's gonna be like a tight one, but I might be able to. But I'm not gonna rush to see.
No, I'm so excited to fire up a few movies to watch Deadpool.
That means I have to watch. That means I have to watch Deadpool too.
You want what, George?
I'm just thinking, like, I'm not going to see Deadpool until I get back from my trip, which is probably going to be like August 3rd, 4, or 5, or maybe even the following weekend. So I'm just very excited to like watch everyone's reactions on Twitter unfold.
I can't wait to see who logs this movie and who doesn't, because there's so many people who are like, there's 0% chance you're going to like this movie, and they hate on this movie 24/7 on Twitter. And if you have a podcast, sure, I get it. But if people are going to see this movie that are just dying, like, save your time. Like, if you know you're gonna hate the movie, don't go see it. Like, there's so many people on Twitter that I'm very sussed out. If I see that they're logging this movie, I'd be like, why did you go see this? You've hated on it. If it's not
your job and you don't actually add anything to it in terms of social medias, like, just don't watch it.
Yeah, if you're only going to see this movie to hate watch it and log it, and I'm not even an MCU stan. I'm like so far off that bandwagon, but still, like, it's just like silly. Like, people, like, the MCU still lives rent free in so many people's heads. But this movie should make a lot of money, which is great for theaters. Hopefully, like, it's more people to push out to like Trap the next weekend, and Twisters keeps doing well. Alien Romulus coming up.
Is Trap that soon?
Yeah, August 2nd.
Oh my god, that's crap.
Yeah, summer is kind of like over. Like,
yeah, it really is like really creeping, isn't it? Like, on the Alien Romulus, like what, 2 weeks after that, maybe
16th.
Shit,
stuff's ramping up. But we also got a trailer for Honora, the Palme d'Or winner, starring Mikey Madison in theaters in October. I think this looks really cool, really fun. It looks like a great movie. Mikey Madison's been killing it in supporting roles. It seems like that's the biggest chance she's getting in the lead role. I'm excited for this. I don't really have much more to say than that. I saw the trailer. It's like, this looks like a fun movie that I'm going to enjoy, and it looks like going to see some good acting on display. I've only seen one other Sean Baker film, and it was The Florida Project. I'm going to try and watch some more before then, but he hasn't done a ton. But looks cool. Alien Romulus. I'll let you guys talk about the trailer if you want, because I was true to my word on Twitter. I literally did open the trailer, and I was just like, immediately once it started, I was like, I'm not watching it. I don't care. You can talk about whatever you want, but I'm sure it looks amazing. I'm so excited for this movie.
I will say it did not give away like any more information, I would say, than like
it was what we already had. Yeah,
yeah.
It was
there's nothing that I think you would be bothered that they showed, Tyler. It's pretty much.
It wasn't like Gladiator 2-esque, was it? In terms of like everything
no,
chronologically, whatever.
I've been loving the behind the scenes I've been seeing of Alien Romulus. They've done so many practical sets, like, it's crazy. Fade Alvarez put his Fadusi into this movie, like absolute full attention and energy.
Well, I mean, he did the same with Evil Dead 2013.
Yeah.
I think this looks. I've been excited from this from day one. I think with Fede Alvarez attached, and that's like the perfect name to carry it on and stuff. And I also think kind of that young up and coming cast like Kaylee Spain leading it. I mean, we all speak about her all the time and how much we love her. And I'm really very, very excited for this. I think it's recipe for greatness as it stands right now, as far as I'm concerned.
So I think we logically have to do an Alien Universe episode.
Oh yeah.
But my question is for prepping, how much of the Predator movies do you have to watch to prep for an Alien specific episode? All of them? None? So Alien versus Predator can be skipped?
Nil point.
So if we do an Alien, so if I'm prepping for us to do an Alien special of franchise with this release, that week will be an Alien special. I don't have to watch Alien vs Predator.
No, we're not going to be covering. We will cover Alien, 1, 2, 3, Resurrections, Prometheus, Covenant, and Romulus.
That's it.
Okay, perfect. Good. That narrows it down a lot, because if you say Alien vs Predator, then it's like, well, shit, I have to watch all the Predators.
Nah, people include them a lot, but they're really not like. They're like a separate entity almost. It's, I don't know. I and there's a few of them. I'm not watching them as well, because then that'll be a fucking. We have to remember as well for the podcast. There is a lot in the Alien films, especially when you get to like Prometheus and Covenant, in terms of how they kind of relate to the other films. It's going to take some time. If we add just the Alien versus Predator films in there as well,
And then we just start adding like Arnie's Predator in, just get down that place and start doing like
Play,
plane
like,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah. That'd be crazy stuff ever. But you just have to watch there's only 6 of the films. It's not like that many, really.
It's doable for sure.
Yeah.
And I've obviously, I'll rewatch them all before anyways, even the ones I have seen. But Dune Prophecy, we got a trailer for that, HBO original series coming out in November. Anything Dune universe I'm in on. Looks
I'll watch
cool.
this. I'm in my TV show watching era and this and Penguin. I think I'm gonna watch both. Feel
Yeah,
cool.
hell yeah.
This is like some good shit.
And both Penguin, I think Dune always was, but Penguin recently became an HBO show as opposed to like a Max original, which was like a small change, but like kind of pretty meaningful in terms of what we can expect from the quality. Because I don't think any Max originals have really been like good, but like HBO shows.
Give me an option as like give me like an example, like a Max original. I can't really think of it.
I'm gonna Google, but I'm worried that I'll just lump them all in. Max original shows.
It's probably gonna
Harley Quinn, Love and Death, Peacemaker. Peacemaker is fine. Pretty Little Liars reboot, Hacks, Sex Lives of College Girls. So like stuff I've heard of, like Love and Death, heard it, like, but it's like not Succession, True Detective Night Country, the House of Dragon, like the prestige HBO shows that release weekly. Yeah. Those are all just stuff dumped on the platform. But cool, excited. And then finally, we got a trailer for John Woo's remake of his own film, The Killer, releasing August 23rd on Peacock. Have either of you seen the original The Killer?
No, but I've done watched this for about 4 years. I don't know. It's one of those things, like a blind spot for me. John Woo in general, to be honest. So
yeah,
John Woo's a huge blind spot for me. Yeah. But his last film, Silent Night, and now this is a Peacock original. I think he is in his bag chasing era. I have zero hopes for this being good, but we'll see. I feel like I don't know. Maybe you're passionate about your old film. You want to remake it, but that seems like the easiest, like, get a quick bag is to make a Peacock original remaking a movie you already made. Seems like a very low energy.
That's like a classic as well, like in the genre. I think it's not that old. I think it might be like early 90s or something. It's like
it's odd move, especially after Silent Night being such like a dud of a movie.
Was that the one with
Joel Kinnaman where he can't talk?
I haven't seen that. I heard.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. On the movie news, we don't care about the Emmys a ton, but just a quick highlight of some of the big things. Emmy nominations came out this week. The Bear season 2 broke the record for most Emmy nominations in the comedy series. Fallout was nominated for 16 Emmys, but only one of them was for acting, and that was Walton Goggins. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I don't know anyone who watched, got nominated for 16 Emmys. Ryan Gosling got an Emmy nomination for his appearance on SNL. And if you're catching the vibe I'm going for here, Emmys are so worthless. So what are we doing here?
He got a nomination for his SNL appearance, the Beavis and Butthead thing.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
And Mr. and Mrs. Smith gets 16 Emmy nominations, but I don't know anyone who's watched it.
George, I haven't seen it. Might be crazy.
And like there's nominations for so many. The fact that Fallout got 16 Emmy nominations, but only one was acting means like there's just so many different categories and sliced and diced stuff. The Bear broke records. Ryan Gosling showing up on SNL getting an Emmy. This is just silly. Emmys, show some class, show some prestige, make it feel exclusive and wanted, not just given everyone who's ever been on TV. Not as bad as a yeah. You had some Grammy takes this week. Your Monday or not Grammy takes people, or was it when it was like the album short list or whatever you tweeted? You're like, two of these are deserving.
It wasn't like an official short list. It was just someone. I think it was
like someone tweeting that.
Basically, like these are our predictions for the 8 best album nominees, and it was like just some bullshit on there that like albums that should never even be near the Grammys.
Fair. I don't watch any of the Grammys or whatever because it's whatever, but I enjoy seeing you get mad on Twitter. Please keep doing that. And then, so obviously big news, Neon acquired the rights to Chris Stuckman's first movie, Shelby Oaks, which had its premiere at a film festival last night, I think, Saturday night.
Soja? Something like that.
Yeah, Fantasia Fest, I don't know, but the film follows a woman who searches for her sister who became a paranormal investigator on YouTube after realizing the imaginary demon from their childhood may be real. I watched Chris Stuckman a lot growing up. I haven't watched him in like probably years at this point, but loved him back in high school, watched his videos all the time. So very excited to see what he's got. I mean, my expectations are not low, but they're not high. Like it's someone's debut film and they come from a YouTube background. I'm not going to be expecting the greatest movie ever, but I'm going to be going to see it for sure because really like Chris Stuckman. I think George, you said you watched him. I know Seth, you didn't, but George, you watched his videos. Should be cool to see. And Neon's a huge get for your first debut of no matter who you are, getting Neon.
When you look down Neon's track record of the past like 5 years, it's been mostly hits, which is pretty impressive. You know, when you compare it to like a Blumhouse, for example, it'd be much more worrying, wouldn't it? Really,
for sure.
Blumhouse, I'd be checked out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Which like feels like low-key like a very fitting landing spot for a movie like this with like a YouTuber. Like it just seems like something Jason Blum would jump at the bit to. But Timothy Chalamet is going to be starring as a pro ping pong player, Marty Reisman, in a biopic written by Josh Safdie, directed by Josh Safdie. So we're getting Timothy Chalamet ping pong, Josh Safdie movie. We're getting the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wrestling UFC.
no, careful there, Tyler.
UFC Benny Safdie movie. We're going to see who the better one is.
Yeah.
We all know Benny Safdie is going to be the better one.
Yeah.
But it should be fun to see anyways. And then I wrote Glen Powell in there, and there's something to remind me of what to say about Glen Powell.
Just Glen Powell.
I wrote it earlier in the episode, but I forgot what I was going to say now at this point. Oh, yeah. Glen Powell followed Andy Muschietti and James Gunn on Instagrams. People are like, those are odd to do back-to-back right away. So
don't steal him. Oh.
I think he'd be like a good fit just for the fact, like in every interview he's always said like he only really ever wants to be in like crowd pleasing blockbuster type movies. So he's always kind of made it that he never really wants to be in like indie Oscar-y movies. So I think it makes sense.
He should though. He's so good, Like,
yeah.
so
I don't know.
cool.
I guess he's like the thing about Glen Powell, he's like, I don't know, maybe he'll have like the Brad Pitt longevity, but he's such a seemingly late 20s, but actually late 30s kind of guy. So
the guy's like 37 in like a month. He's like not young. People still, he was on a list of like best young actors in Hollywood. He's 37 nearly. What are we doing?
I think he's just trying to capitalize on him while he can.
He's young in his career.
I'll go on the record here. I don't think this will ever happen, but I think Glen Powell would make a fantastic Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I think it would too. He has a charisma for sure.
No, I get it.
It'd be funny if they weave it into the Nolan universe. And it's like his origin story is having Bane smash his head into a desk as when he was an investment banker for that cameo in The Dark Knight Rises, and then from there he becomes the new Bruce Wayne. But yeah, Glen Powell. We'll see what comes of that. It is definitely like a very odd back-to-back follow of not only James Gunn. James Gunn would make sense because he's like leading Warner Brothers, like one of the highest up. But Andy Muschietti's like the director for Batman. So it's like those back to back, a little different, a little interesting. But
why do you think Glen Powell's like so big now? Why do you think it's taken so long for him to get these kind of roles? I don't really get it because he had the masterpiece that is Spy Kids 3. He played that. He's literally called the long fingered boy in that or some shit. And then he had like Dark Knight Rises where he's like in for a second. What was the kind of
maybe it took him like a couple extra years to like maybe grow out of like an awkward, uncomfortable actor phase and just blossom.
Yeah, maybe it's just like
charismatic guy that he's become.
It's just like 10 years, isn't it? It's like a long period. It's just
I
don't know.
Well, he was in like the Expendables 3 is one of like the extra like.
That's not a real film. They're not real.
No, but I'm saying like I think maybe Hollywood just kind of threw him into being like good-looking, strong dude, nothing more than that. So we'll just throw him in movies like
what's his name? The Reacher guy, the Thad Castle. Alan Rich.
Yep, Alan Rich.
The GOAT. Yeah.
But that does it for our episode today. Our Twisters and natural disaster filled episode. Still over 2 hours, but one of the shortest ones we've done yet. But on this week on Wednesday, we are planning on having a season 4 of The Boys review. If it doesn't happen, sorry, it hasn't been filmed yet, so we're hoping it's going to happen. But plan on Wednesday seeing a review of season 4 of The Boys. There's some special guests involved. So obviously that just ended, and we didn't talk about it on the episode here today. So we're going to be doing a separate episode on The Boys. Real quick on Thursday, it's going to be a draft of which movie characters we would have play the various inside-out emotions in our head. So joy, sadness, anger, disgust. What movie characters do we want to play each of those emotions in our head? That was like something on Twitter was a little trend of being people like, this is my inside out. If it were in my head, we're going to be doing our own spin on that. And then this week's Patreon review on Friday is going to be a movie review of Billy Wilder's The Apartment. So shout out to all our patrons, especially our executive producers, Stefan Johnson, Stefan Niebrick. If you want to join our Discord and our Patreon, check out the links in the description down below so you can check out all of our backlog of our 26 reviews at this point for Patreon exclusive reviews and our new one coming this weekend with the Apartment. But with that, we will likely see you Wednesday. If not, we will see you Thursday. Peace.